Austin, Nevada. So that's the red box along an abandoned Nevada highway. I believe it's Highway 722, which was the first highway in America certified for driverless vehicles. Moto Bombs in the house. Wheel Burglar, ladies and gentlemen, children and audience, may I introduce you to host of the evening, Sterling Wheel. Get in here, Wheel Burner. You've got the link. Tolga saying hi. Never seen Tolga before. He must be a new subscriber.
Oi, oi.
Hey, nice hat. We match.
I got mine from eBay. Sorry.
Sweet. I'm surprised I'm not. I'm probably on some ATF list because of that video you did when you got your hat and your glass. You're like, oh, look, it's full of bullets.
Yeah, it was weird. There was like 600 rounds in that box. I thank you for it. It was pretty damn great. Chief Freight Hauler saying hello, everybody. This Walmart Life saying yo. Motorbomb says you guys look great. Let me know how the audio is doing.
Your audio is fine.
Okay.
I think you're louder than me.
I'm using my old
mic down.
I'm using my old microphone instead of the actual, the fun one that has all the echo sounds. Dewana's in the house. Hello, darling Will and Miss Red Lady. Darling.
Hello, Dewana.
You mean darling Sterling. Chief Freight Hauler, 30 minutes until I hit the 12-hour mark trying to unload my 8:30 a.m. appointment. Oh,
ouch.
The Friday before Labor Day, Steve. That's trouble, right?
Yeah.
Every damn time. Chief Freight Hauler saying hi to the Wheel Burner. Recycle Hooligans in here too. Tag team. Whoa now. Yeah, we're tag teaming. Recycle Hooligan saying Sterling is channeling Shade Tree Surgeon. I needed my Hawaiian shirt today. I needed it. It was when I opened the closet, it was glowing in the background. My adventures. Good seeing here, Chris. Good evening. So we've got ourselves. We're just hanging out at home here. We've had quite a crazy week. SST's in the house, saying present. Firefighter Bob is first in his mind. Wheel Burglar saying the audio's okay. Wheel Burner, that link is out there if you want it, brother.
Good.
And Snorelord OG is saying hello. Ryan Peterson, good seeing here, sir. Ryan Peterson he's a good person to have follow your channel. I noticed on your channel, Snorelord, he'll put in like the new Loves locations. He's good at putting road reports and stuff. He's a good dude.
That's cool. Yeah, that's always important because no one uses the damn CB anymore. So
I tried using it today, but nobody else had theirs on, so I felt sad and depressed. That's why I called you.
It's what's funny is I was just talking about. I think maybe it was during our conversation. Like you get in the traffic jam, and the first time I started driving, and I use the CB. I'm like, hey, what's going on at mile marker 48 up here? And someone goes, Obama. Okay, and then the CB lights up with all this chatter. I'm like, okay, but I still know what's happening at mile marker 48. So it didn't matter. Not like I was going to go around it. So
that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So today's show, I decided to name Home, and I invited some dear friends. I'm not sure who exactly, but I consider them dear friends. You've actually been to our home, and we can't thank you enough for stopping by, saying hi, enjoying the festivities.
Yeah.
We don't hold guests too often here at the house, but I think it turned out okay. With the wedding procession and everything.
Yeah, I wish I could have stayed that night. Looking in hindsight, I should have stayed at least one more day. But with it being on a weekday, I didn't want to lose too much time at work. So
Right. Grateful.
But it was fun. It was. I was talking to my friend Scorpion Trucker. He called me just to see how things were going since he's left.
I was going to ask you today about him. I missed the guy.
He is a CDL instructor now. And he's doing well. He's very happy. He's good with the students, and they love him there. But I told him, he goes, "Yeah, you went to Nevada, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And And I said the first time I've been in the desert since I was at Landstar. It was kind of nice since 2016, 2015, something like that.
Okay.
And it was cool. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed my. It was funny. I was like, oh man, I'm out in the desert. I'm gonna go for a morning walk. And all of a sudden, Shannon's truck started. I was like, no, I'm trying to get away from truck noises. Ah.
Yeah.
Because that auto start she had, and then the dog attacks me, and but no, I enjoyed the serenity. I wish I could have done one more night outside looking at the stars, but I went to bed early Sunday night, and because I was wiped out. So being 2 hours behind really screws with you for a minute. So it's like midnight for me, and it's like you guys are like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, and so. But,
well, not only that, but like that was the last time you really cheated on your diet. That was the last time you had alcohol. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably good because this has been kind of I need a couple of White Russians kind of week, and last week was like that too. So it's good that I've kind of gotten away from that.
So I wanted to lean into that a little bit.
Okay.
All of us that are currently on screen have had one hell of a week. And I wanted to ask everybody present, you don't have to go into what happened this week, but what did you do? What actions did you take to bring us to where we are right now? We're doing okay. We've made it through the week. What did you rely on to get through this hell of a friggin' week?
Friends, I think that, so basically I'll put it out there. Last week, I dealt with 3 drivers that just, they're not going to make it, with the market conditions, and here I am trying to help keep them in business, and they just don't listen. And eventually I got over that, but then people would talk to me and want me to repeat the story, and so now I'm like dwelling in it. I'm swimming in it. At one point, man, I just I didn't want to be on the phone. I didn't want to talk about it, and it's like, look, and then today, this morning, or no, yesterday, a friend of mine who's a Christian, and he told me something that just blew my mind, right? And so it was a faith thing that gets me through these things. I've had to learn, and music. Oh, dude, music is such a lifesaver. You guys were talking about System of a Down.
Yeah.
One of my favorite albums of all time is Toxicity. And dude, when I was driving, if I was doing an overnighter, that was the album. I was air drumming. That's why I can't have driver facing cameras. I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing double bass. I'm like, and my steering wheel, the horn's going off because I'm hitting it too much, and that album kept me awake many nights. That one, Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime, that's a good one. A little bit of Alcest, Chemist, But anyways, music is definitely one of the tools. And but anyways, he said something. It's like, look, God was humbling you because I did make a mistake this week that affected a driver and affected me. And also, you have to learn, like it was kind of like if you go weightlifting to get stronger, you're basically damaging the muscles, and then it's when they repair themselves that you become stronger. And that's essentially what happens in the Christian faith. You are going to be broken down so you can be built back better. That's the wrong term. You'll be better, right?
I just got flagged.
And so once my friend said that, it made a lot of sense, and so it kind of humbled me. And one of the drivers is going to come back, and I'm going to be dispatching them, and I'm going to have more patience, and I'm going to have and so friends, family, the Word, and music. That's what gets me through these times, And when you put a spiritual aspect to things, it's like we all have things that have happened in our lives that we blame God for. We get angry at God and don't blame God for something that the devil did, right? And so these things are meant to strengthen you. They're meant to make you better for yourself so you can be a light in someone else's world. And that's what I try to remember, And I went out to Nevada to hang out with you guys and to be there for you as a friend, Sterling. But I was also out there for me because God's like, you know what? Let's get you out of your little bubble you got by being at home, working at home, not having to drive a truck anymore. Let's get you to see the real world, and let's get you to travel. Let's get you out of your comfort zone. And it was freaky a little bit. And I was really worried on my way home because I didn't know how long it was going to take for me to get home. It was like, well, at worst, I guess I got to rent a car and drive, from Denver to Springfield. But that's what gets me through. And, in the past, I would have turned to, some White Russians and made bad decisions with the food. I was like, screw it. We're going to get pizza, and I'm going to have White Russians, and we're going to watch live PD, and I'm going to lecture my kids about how dumb it is to drink while being drunk. I mean,
Yeah.
look, at the end of the day, it's about handling stress. And one of the things that I've noticed about the carnivore diet is, since I've cleaned up my diet, is I handle stress a lot more. Like, there's no spikes, right? There's no like rages.
Yeah, there's no crazy extremes, black and white. It's, often people take medications to ride the middle, But honestly, I've noticed with carnivore diet, you kind of your natural center becomes the middle.
And Chief Freyhaller has a good comment. I've learned instead of blaming God, ask what am I being taught? And that's it. That's it. And so what I learned was gratitude, right? Gratitude helps through all the things like for example, one of the last breakdowns I dealt with on my truck was I blew a radiator hose right there on I-44 where there was no shoulder, right there in Rolla. And I'm sitting there, I was talking on the phone with a friend of mine, all of a sudden I look in my mirror and there's just steam just billowing out of my truck, and I'm like, what the hell? And then then the Christmas tree started, and I pulled over and it was just gushing. So I had 4 gallons of bottled water. I threw that in there and as I was trying to get to that Love's there in Raleigh, there's a shop right next to it. And it made it to the ramp. And it was kind of a bad situation. It got hairy for a minute because, now I finally had a shoulder. Now I was on the ramp. And not only that, but when the tow truck came to the repair shop guy came, and not the tow truck, but the mobile repair truck came, it actually caused an accident on that ramp. Somebody rear-ended a U-Haul rear-ended a car because they were confused by all the lights. And I mean, it was a bad situation, but as I'm sitting there, I'm being grateful. I'm grateful that I have the means to make the repair, because there's a lot of owner operators that can pay for a repair. They're dead in the water. Anything beyond the tire, they're dead in the water. I was grateful that I was able to get to a ramp. I was grateful that I keep, a huge amount of water in the truck. I was grateful for the mobile shop guy because he was willing to come out when I had a quote of like 4 hours because they had to go all the way to Peterbilt in St. Louis to get my part. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. I was grateful for, and then the guy followed me to the next truck stop because there was air in the system, so he had to fill it a couple of times, and he hung out with me until we got to, I think, exit 208 at Cuba, and then he's like, okay, you should be fine now, and I was grateful for that. I believe where did I end up parking that night? I ended up just parking.
In the shop, when we add coolant, you're supposed to jack the front up of the truck as high as you can get it on a lift. and it helps all the air get to the top, right to the radiator cap. Then you just burp it and let it go. Otherwise, there's big air pockets. It can mess up your motor. It can mess up your heater core.
Right. And I was grateful for all of that. And, and I remember the first time I blew my turbo in my old truck, I was sitting there at the hotel, and a friend of mine calls me and goes, "How are you not losing your mind right now?" I'm like, "What can I do? It's out of my control. I've got the means to fix it. I've got a cool hotel room. I got food. I got money for food. Like, if it gets into 2 weeks, my wife can come and get me. I'm in St. Louis, right?" And so gratitude is where I really started to see my depression go away. Like, and my diet change, obviously, but gratitude, because I think that sometimes we get so, because here's the thing, like, sometimes we feel like, you know what, I'm gonna sell the house or sell the car, or I'll just get rid of everything, clean the slate. That's what that is that's the desire for change.
Yes.
But because you want to reduce the complexities, it's just easier to think that cleaning the slate, because now you have a new set of problems and now you can focus on them. And so the desire to change is in all of us. But what we have to do is we have to be level-headed and like, okay, well, burning the house down probably isn't an option. So let's see what I can do. And you know what, dude? What really, really turns things around is the little changes, the little tiny changes. It's like, you want to start working out, just lift one weight for, it could be a 5-pound weight for 5 minutes a day. Do some wall push-ups for, 10 times a day. And that's it. That's all you do. And then next thing you know, you start, okay, I'm going to put a timer on my phone so I'm not on Facebook, but like maybe a half hour a day. And then, and then you're grateful for the things that you have, and people ask, well, what if like trucking goes under, or what if Jeff fires you, or what if you have to get back in the truck? I'm like, well, then that's what I do. And
how do you find gratitude in the darkest, lowest part of that depression wave?
You look at what you have, and and so when my father died of lung cancer, and so he called me one day. I was barely listening when he told me. He was like, "Hey son, I have a lump that they're going to look at." And I was changing the baby. Edward was like a little baby. He was like a year old, and it didn't even dawn on me. Like, it didn't like grasp, right? And later on, when he started his chemo, that's when we really started to see. And I remember sitting by his bedside at the hospital, and he was he was literally in pain because his back was literally basically broken because the chemo had weakened his bones. And he's sitting there and he's like, "Steven, I didn't think it would ever be this bad. I didn't think it was ever be this bad." Because, people are like, "Oh, I'll smoke cigarettes. I'll die. Gotta die someday." No. I watched a man struggle to keep his life, struggle to be alive for the ones that he loves. And he couldn't make it. Like, he lost that battle.
How old?
He was 61, and he truck driver, for half his life, military, and to see, my dad in that weakened state and then begging for his life, man, everything else is a cakewalk after that, and so when you wake up in the morning, you're grateful to be breathing. You're grateful that you have a roof over your head. You're grateful that even with the bad stuff, like I am grateful. Like, would I go through those times again? No, but I'm grateful for those times and what they taught me. They taught me about health. They taught me about life and death. They've put me through a lot. And I did have depression after that. And it was hard to get out of that dark spot. And I used medication. They put me on Wellbutrin, and that almost killed me. And it wasn't until I brought gratitude that, like I was grateful for the bad things that happened, like not my dad dying, but grateful for all the harsh lessons. Like I fall down and like I burned myself today on my finger, and I'm grateful for it because it says don't do that, dude. You know, I mean, just little things like that, and it starts with the little, but usually the darkness is all in. It feels like it's all around, and that's the devil telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not worthy enough, and that you deserve this, and that's none of that is true. And
it helps give you that middle ground.
Say it again.
Gratitude helps give you that middle ground where you can decide on which direction you want to go.
Correct. Well, think about like if a tornado hits your house, right? What's the first thing your mind goes to? Is everybody alive? Is everybody all right? And then you go, thank God, right? And then it soaks in that you've lost all your stuff or whatever. And you know, and then you have to deal with that. But the first thing that comes to your mind is gratitude. You're not sitting there like let's say you're dead out in the field and like Sterling's amp survived. You're like, oh, thank God my amp survived. You know, that wouldn't be like that, right? You know, so you know, that's how powerful gratitude is, because we naturally can default to it. We do in emergency situations, and so usually that voice has just got to be louder than what's going on. And sometimes there's too many voices. Sometimes you just need to go outside. You guys got the perfect place to do that, to go outside and just soak up all them stars and soak up that night air and the quietness, you know.
Both you and Shannon both were in the backyard looking at the stars with me. It's like, have you ever seen the stars like that before?
Yeah, I mean, well, I had when I lived in the desert, you know, but it'd been a long time seeing the stars like that, and I just loved it. And when you think of the universe, when you think of how big everything is, then it really kind of makes your problems really small. And you know what? Here's the thing: when you listen to Ryan Holiday and you look at the Stoics, you know, what's happening today is not forever. The good things that are happening today, they won't be here forever. The bad things that are happening here today will not be forever. And some of the things that I know that you'd struggle with personally, I've dealt with the same exact things. So, you know, when it comes to your kid and some of the other stuff, you know, and I've been through that. I've lived that, and you know what? I always had this feeling that it would not always be like that. And you know, and that's you know, and it's hard to find gratitude. Like if you lose a loved one to a car accident or something like that, that's definitely hard, but you're still going to be grateful for the people that tried to comfort you. You're still going to be grateful for, you know, when my dad died, we had so many neighbors bring us so much food. We didn't have to cook for a week.
Yes.
You know? And so, and that's where, like I said, gratitude. It's about the only thing you can have sometimes. Sometimes that's, you know, hey, I'm breathing today. All right, I guess I got to work on this list, you know, and that it just happens like that. So,
how come when you express that you have gratitude in a very negative situation, how come it seems offensive to some people? Like, there's a lot of people that, you know, if you say, well, yeah, I got a flat tire and I'm late for work, but I'm glad I made it. Some people actually get pissed off at that
because they got the wrong voice talking to them. They don't. People hate to see people succeed. They hate to see, if they have hate in their heart, they hate to see. Like if I become rich and famous, I'm gonna have some haters going, that son of a bitch don't deserve it, you know, and that's just the nature. That's the nature of this kingdom here on earth, right? And so those people's energies have been drained, and that's a sad way to live. That those are the people that lose hope. Those are the people that the devil talks to when they believe that voice, that they're not good enough, that life sucks, and and it's all about them, why me? Why me? Well, maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's just life just sucks right now for you in this moment. And guess what? It's always not going to be like that. So, people are like that. I try not to hang out with people like that. But I'm also trying to be respectful. I'm not like, oh, everything will be fine, and I'm not like that. I'm more like, hey, look, it could be worse. I'm always a worst case scenario guy, and because it can always be worse, dude. It can always be worse.
So, and I'm like that as well. The worst case scenario guy. How do you manage being that person and not coming off as paranoid or scared?
Because I don't walk in a spirit of fear. Like one time someone I know and I were out and about in Springfield, and they had to stay in this spot while I went to go get something. And they freaked out. Like, are you kidding? In the middle of Springfield? And I go, what? This is a good neighborhood. And he goes, well, that's a lot saying from someone who carries a gun with them. And I had to tell this person that I don't carry a gun out of fear. I carry a gun out of protection. And it's not, I don't walk in a spirit of fear. And so I'm not paranoid. Like, I'll still go out and live my life. Like, I had no problems going to Nevada without my weapon, right? I did buy a little pocket knife, but it came in handy when it came to opening water packages and whatever, but the paranoid is a state of fear. It's living in the spirit of fear. I don't live in the spirit of fear. Like, dude, there can be a mushroom cloud. I'll be like, take me. Right? And
I've often thought of that as well.
Like, what are you going to do about it?
But some people want to go in a bunker and live like a rat or die like a rat. I whatever the problem is, I kind of want to face it. But Shannon, you've sat here so patiently. How are you doing?
Sweating. How are you?
Good. So I
Poor
posted.
Shannon.
Everybody in here has had a tough week. I want to know, what did you do to survive? What has brought you to today?
What did I do to survive what?
What did you do to survive this week? What has brought you to today?
Well, I had lots of encouraging conversations from Snorelord and Jeff. My weekly lashings keeps me motivated. No, I mean, I just do what I do. I'm out here running my business, so that keeps me motivated. And was really planning on getting home this weekend to spend some time with the family, because I obviously gonna have an extra day off. So I'm excited about that. And just doing my thing. I'm excited every day. I jump out of bed and I'm excited to do this work, and I'm smiling.
She's very bubbly. Like, when you're talking about earlier the people that hate the bubbliness, she's definitely bubbly. You call her and she's like, woohoo, let's go. That's how she is.
Yeah,
See, you hear that laugh on the phone.
Like today, I reached out to a few people today, and Shannon was probably in the top 10 that I reached out to today. And she was instantly, hey, great day, how you doing? And it's like, I'm trying to, damn it, Shannon, I'm trying to be miserable here.
What? I told him he picked a great day to call me, because I was already had my meeting with Snorelord and Jeff. It was past that, Steve, and it was after that. So I'm in a good mood. I've been in a good mood all day. I told him, I said, I'm just exceptionally excited and happy today. So I'm glad you called. You needed to hear a positive voice. man, do I got joy. And if you needed to hear somebody happy, this is the perfect day to call me. So it was good. And sometimes Sterling calls me and he's in his melancholy state. And I answer the phone, and what do I do, Sterling?
Well, the thing is despite all my rage, I'm just a rat in the cage.
What's usually the first thing that I say when you call me?
I usually say, "Damn it, Shannon, you're so happy."
Yeah, because I'm saying what? I'm going, wow, what's up? Like, I literally answer the phone, just holler.
Trust me, I have to pull the headphones off my ears every time I call you because it's like.
Well, it brings me to a point here.
He's like,
This
I
is
hate you. It's too early.
see. Here's the thing. The most important word that you can speak when things are down is help. And what you did, Sterling, is you reached out to people, and so what so sometimes when you talk to someone, you're a distraction, right? Like I told you about my issues, and it's look, I'm tired of talking about it. Let's talk about music stuff, and that's what we did. And next thing you know, we're not thinking about the things that were both bringing us down. We were talking about music gear. We were talking about drum machine pedals and sometimes that's all you need is a distraction to quiet those voices down. Sometimes that's all it takes,
Yeah, and I was running into a situation today where I had a lot of anger on my heart, and I was disappointed in myself, and my reactions, and I could have handled myself in a very poor way today, and it would have done nobody any good.
Yeah, and one of the things that helped me in my early years was I used to sing for a death metal band. I mean, there's nothing like screaming for 100 people, and like that's a great outlet. There's some power to that. And so on weeks where I would probably have some White Russians, I'm sitting there listening to like some brutal like raw, it's just like, and I'm just like, like I'm listening to easy listening, and that fuels, that my anger comes out in a different way when I do that. But usually, I couldn't do the death vocals now because I'm not as angry as I used to be, because I have a whole different perspective of life than I did even 3 years ago.
Yeah, we've all, like in the last 3 years, I think we're totally different people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recognize myself.
You think I am?
You're totally different. Every time I talk to you, you're just happier every goddamn time.
Happier.
I mean, okay, so you guys, I think we've known each other about that long, right? You guys have been watching my channel probably for that long.
A little over 3 years.
Hey,
yeah. So
I have an announcement here. Okay, I've heard Shannon angry.
What?
I was sitting there in my bed at Sterling's house.
Oh, wait.
And Shannon was still up rummaging around the house, and I heard her go,
the F word. Oh, that's the dog.
The dog was annoying the crap out of her. It was funny. I was like, oh boy, never gonna get any sleep because she's yelling at her dog.
Right.
Where was I outside in the truck?
No, you were doing laundry, so you were going right by the door, and Dee Dee wouldn't leave the puppy alone, wouldn't leave Harold alone. So you're like,
yeah.
It was hilarious. I was like, wow, I should be recording this right now.
Well,
she gets me there sometime.
The funny thing was that Shannon left the house to take care of the windshield in her truck, I believe it was, and left Dee Dee home with us guys. And that dog turned into a Labrador Retriever instantly. Just instantly. She was a black lab, just big old dumb puppy dog eyes, and just laid on the floor. It was unbelievable.
And the minute Shannon walked in the house, it was like,
that's what we wanted to go get, Harold.
Yeah, but you know what? That's how kids are, right? It's like, look, I always threaten my kids' life. It's one thing to misbehave when you're at home with me, but I swear to God, if one person says that you misbehave when you're outside inside
Yep.
this house.
You're
It is
in
dead. And so, yeah. So
That's
that's
funny
funny.
because
I'm
that's
glad
probably
you let me bring
exactly
her.
that's probably exactly what happened. Because that dog was like, the dog literally turned into a fish.
That's so funny. I'm glad she only disappointed me really one time when she piddled on the floor and disrespected your house, and I don't understand why she did that. But I think she was all right. You know, she's pretty decent. So,
Hey, I think she was just I think she was just nervous.
yeah,
New environment.
she gets excited around a lot.
Wilbur's got a good saying. I have found that emotion destroys intellect. If somebody's echoing.
I think it's
Shannon,
Shannon.
you echo? Yeah.
You got
Shannon.
YouTube in the back row? Or do you?
Okay, somebody's asking for, or Buck Brown wants to give a very gratuitous PayPal if you can get Shannon to cuss like a sailor for at least 15 seconds.
Is your yeah, your YouTube's on or something, Shannon? You're echoing. Like it just started. That's weird.
Yeah.
No, I'll check, but I got it off.
Here, I can double check your settings here.
Yeah, I don't have any on.
Radio check.
Hey. Okay, it's getting better.
I made sure to shut everything off before.
Radio check, video check.
1, 2, 3. Hey, hey, hey.
Like I'm in.
Okay. Where's the home? So.
Okay.
I don't know what
Radio
state I'm in right now.
breaker 19.
Breaker 19. You got your ears on? Come on.
Test.
Can you hear me?
That did it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, it sounds all right now.
Okay. So I gotta say that I got a little tear in my eye when I saw that video of you leaving your house. It was so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been having an issue on my channel. My shorts have not been reaching anybody. My recorded videos haven't been reaching anybody. These live videos, I'll get about 100 people or so. So I decided, what's the best short video I could do? And I figured, let's take a cut from the wedding video that I'm currently editing. So I think it's good.
Yeah, it was special to me because it's the first, like, I didn't think about that moment. So that, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, yeah.
So
I was out there with the video.
I've transferred all that video to my editing computer, and probably here in the next week or so, I'll push that video to the members only on my channel.
That's gonna be awesome. We had a good time, didn't we, guys?
It was so much fun.
Yeah, and Crystal, oh, what a beautiful bride. I hope that,
Yeah.
man, I just hope that you enjoyed it as
I
much
did.
as I did.
I'm so grateful for you guys to be here and experience all
Yeah,
this.
it was a good time. And for us to be able to hang out, like I almost wish we had more time. You know what I mean? Because there's so much, I think there's so much more hanging out that we could have done
Oh.
if we could have all been there
That
longer.
just, just means more schedule more weekends.
Yeah. So it was cool. So I'm sorry I'm late tonight. I had a meeting, previously scheduled meeting. So did you start out on a certain topic or something? Or because you guys were talking about some pretty deep stuff when I popped in.
Yeah. Steve and I were talking about all the ways that we can't stand you.
Oh, fantastic! My timing was perfect then.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Either you love me or you hate me. It is what it is. I've accepted it.
We love you.
Sounds like I'm rubbing off on you.
So it's it's like that, and I accept that. But I can't contain myself, man. I just, life is too short. I've done that before. I've lived a lifetime with having to keep my mouth shut. And
Well, you've had some trials yourself. It's not like you were born into this. Like you had to go through some crap yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I was locked away like a princess Rapunzel in the tower, and 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 on top of that, a victim of the bad kind of narcissism thing, and hence my then divorce and all that stuff. You know, and single motherhood hardship. Blah, blah, blah. So my joy is like, I think I explained it on one of my videos one time, and I don't know if I ever kept that video up there, but I cried on that video. Like I got pretty emotional. Very early
Yes, you did, and we were all watching.
Were you? Okay. So I explained it like this. For those of you that have been drunks or do drink or get drunk a lot, because I used to back before I had kids and all that stuff, right? I was an alcoholic at a very young age. Definitely because I'm the life of the party. It got out of hand, and but I didn't have anything better to do. I was going to college, like, go to college, you drink, you party. I had a pretty short stint of that in my life because it went so fast. And so this is what I compare my testimony to. There was nights, and a lot of you can relate to this, whether it was drugs or alcohol or whatnot. You find yourself so freaking sick or drunk or high or whatever the treat of the night was, or whatever, and you're so sick, like those nights that you're throwing up on the toilet, right? And you're crying because you feel so bad, and you can't stop puking, and it's like that, right? Everybody has had that moment. If you're not, for those of you that didn't ever get there, fine. But for the people that know what I'm talking about, like, it's the moment when you're praying to the porcelain god. I promise I'll never forget it. I swear to God, if you just bring me through this moment, you're pleading for your life, okay? And then God will bring you through that moment. Whatever God you pray to, you get through it, and you're like, dude, that was the worst, right?
Right.
And you end up you're stupid, and so you end up doing it again. But that particular moment when you're at the worst part of it, and you're just praying that you live through the night, and then you do. So what was missing, and I've had several of those nights, but my testimony in life is, to me, I can compare it to that, but the only difference is, like, I went down so dark and so hard, or I ended up in these consequences of my decisions that were so hard. It was many valleys in my life, and I realized that finally I got wise and was like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go along with all the stuff that goes along with this, because it's like I'm lucky to be alive. And so I quit drinking and stuff because of that. But then I went through even harder trials in my life. And through the last one, I was suffocated in my relationship. But it wasn't the first time. And then I had these 3 little girls that I had to live with. And I had to decide how to be 2 parents, and I had to decide how to be an example of what I wanted them to be. And that put me in a really huge place of responsibility and how I was going to handle everything moving forward in the toughest thing in my life.
Now, and Shannon, so, I know this story from you. Is there any way to communicate this story to those of us that have brothers and sisters in the trucking industry that feel like they've reached the bottom? They're struggling. They can't make their truck payments. They can't book loads. Is there any way to relate to that, where somebody feels like, I'm trying to provide for my family. I'm trying to build something in the trucking industry, and it's just not working. I mean, I see it as an addiction, but if you have any advice for a person that's absolutely struggling right now, what they can do in the trucking industry? And I know, Steve, you can talk about it. So.
Yeah, since I'm the greenhorn around here, I'm not so sure I can advise on that situation, except you got to decide what you want to stand for and call for and live for, die for, and fight for. And I mean, on the relationship part, I can speak like if because I've been through what I've been through and I've survived it. It's the reason I'm so full of joy, because I'll tell you one thing: when you're in that darkest spot, crying over the toilet, all you can think about is being better. Like, just give me a chance to like breathe and feel good again. And so I was in that place, that dark place in my life, and I made up my mind, like, if I can just survive, if I can just get through this, I'll never take 1 second of life for granted again. And that's the point I was getting at with the toilet story.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so who I am today is out of gratitude.
I had a friend reach out to me a couple weeks ago that his trucking company is failing. He's trying to do the owner operator thing, and he's absolutely at the bottom, like you said, hugging the porcelain toilet. The only difference is it's a steering wheel in his case.
Well, you know what I would say in my little years, because Lord knows I just, I've been out here 5 years now. I just made it to 5 years.
You're no longer a greenhorn, by the way.
Well, compared to you guys, I am. So.
Well, can I add to this real quick?
Yeah.
The porcelain story. Everybody has to hit a rock bottom in order to start rebuilding. Like, sometimes you just, like, she had to have that point of pain and to have that aha moment to, like, you know what, let's do better than this. And as owner operators, I had moments like that. There was a time where I was in Gallup, New Mexico. My truck had caught on fire. My best friend at that time told me, well, you should have just let it burn because you were failing anyways. And dude, I was feeling pretty low. Like, I'm never going to be able to dig out of this hole. But it was through that pain and the friendship of Pale Rider who kept me, sane during the drive in the desert at night, the next morning, that got me through it. And so and that's where gratitude comes in. Shannon, are you grateful for that porcelain moment? Because it taught you a lot.
That was the point I was trying to make. Like, it was, I mean, now mind you, it took me a couple of those to like get it, like make the decision. Like, oh, I'm literally done. But I promised and I pleaded and I did it over and over again until you just finally like, I'm calling it quits. And then I went through even harder things in my life, right? So I just kept fighting. And so today, now that I'm free, like I literally got freed from that situation. I got freed from that toilet, that sickness. Like I decided there were a lot of different circumstances, but it was that same thing again. I was at my lowest, and I promised, like, I won't go back to this place again. And then I'd find myself in the same, a similar but different predicament. So to me, it was that same thing was repeating. And I finally just, I mean, honestly, I just cried out to God, you guys. And I'm not trying to get all preachy or nothing, but I'm telling you, like, this is my testimony. Like, I cried out to God, and I found myself again crying out to him and saying, please get me out of this situation, and I will never return. But now I'm older. Now I'm in my late 40s, and I'm looking at myself like, just keep getting yourself in these situations, like, what do you got to do to end it, and it was almost, a lot of it was happenstance too. But anyway, but God delivered me finally one more time. And so I know better now. I know better. I'm spiritually more mature. I got my eyes open. I've been through enough trials to see this stuff coming a mile away this time. So I can do better. And now I'm in a position where I don't have to, I'm not oppressed because I have to, my main concern is like, I have to take care of these little girls that depend on me. Now I'm in a different place to be stronger and to move forward. And I just decided that I'm not oppressed by anything anymore. I'm free. He delivered me, and I'm free to be whatever that I am and who he made me. And I literally just, my wings unfolded, and I am not going to be ashamed, or no one's going to lock me away anymore. I'm going to be free to be myself and to love. I cannot not love other people. It's inside of me. I can't not love you. And I just want to, instead of worrying about all these situations in the world, I want to be free. And I want to try that part of life because I've seen everything else.
Yeah.
And so I want to be funny. I want to be a clown. I want to be happy. I want to be the smile that encourages somebody else. I want to smile. Like, I want my face to hurt because I smiled because I went through so many tears. I won't take for granted another day ever again. Like, that's how low, though, I had to go. I had to hit that bottom to make my decision of how I was going to move forward. And that had I have every bit of that I owe thanks to God for, because I don't even know how I made it this far.
You are no
in your business, huh?
You are no longer a slave to that sin.
Right. But
You've
that's
broken
a choice,
your slavery.
right?
Right.
That's a choice. I'm like, nope, not anymore. That's how I just.
There you go.
The devil
Everybody
has
saw
no
Shannon
power.
flip the bird. There you go.
Yeah, there you
Super
go.
chat.
There you go, Buck.
There you go, Buckmouth.
I can do this for 15 seconds. Will that get you a big super chat? Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Pay up.
Well,
Pay
wait,
up, brother.
Red Lady sent a super chat, so
No, Buck said he was going to send a lucrative one if you could get me to cuss like a sailor for at least 15 seconds. He did not say that I couldn't do sign language. So here's 15 seconds. Start the timer. It better be over 100
There's the
bucks,
thumbnail.
Buck.
There's the thumbnail. Sterling.
So let's say let me take your question to address that. So let's pretend it's me, okay? Now, if I'm and believe me, I kind of feel like I touched on that a little bit at DART. I was going, it was hard. I started my business in the hard part of the market, and I've been fighting ever since. The difference between me and that person is I don't have the family to support and those kinds of responsibilities. So I do feel for all you guys that are trying to be the breadwinner and take care of your family. But if that were me and I literally was struggling, I will tell you what I've learned that to do in life. You reach out, you get help. And God dang it, admit that you don't know what you're doing. And find somebody that is doing what you want to be doing. And network with them and reach out to them and befriend them. And if you so have it, you talk to them and listen to their coaching. And sometimes you have to stop. You have to pay attention to what the universe is delivering to you. And so you have to really be honest with yourself. And if something is not working,
Yes.
you have to be responsible enough to, sometimes you have to stop what you're doing, and you have to, let's say you got to shut down. Guys do this. They have to shut down. We talk about this stuff all the time. They have to shut down and change gears for a minute, or when the truck breaks down, right? This is easy. The truck breaks down. You only have a couple of options. Either you go use your credit and you get yourself back up and running again, But a lot of times guys aren't in that position, and they may have kids at home. And so in my mind, you have to go get a job for a minute. And if I were in that position, I'd be like, all right, I don't have the 20 grand to fix my truck. I got to go get a company job. I'd run my little butt right back to JB Hunt because I was making good money. I'll go work that job until I'm financially ready to start my business again. Or maybe that's not God's plan for my life. And maybe there's something else that's going to open up. But you can't let it kill you. Like your job, as much as I know that this is different for men than it is for women, your job does not define you, and you are not the creator of your master plan. And that's the hardest thing for some men to accept, because you do have wives and children depending on you. But in this day and age, it takes more than one person to run the household, to handle the household. And sometimes you just got to switch gears. And you might have to put that dream off for a little bit and come back to it later. But you got to take care of your family. So I understand the pressure that's there. So sometimes you got to switch gears. But, and touching on a note that you and I talked about today, Sterling, I feel like that's a point that we touched on. Like you have to know that you have to be healthy, and you have to do things that make you happy, because and this is kind of what I'm talking about too. You only live once here. And there's a lot of work to be done, and I choose to be so hard on a sleeve. So I just want to love people because I want to have the best life I can imagine, and that's what I imagine is like just loving people and being the best person I can be in this world, to make my mark on this world and make an impact, and hopefully encourage other people to love that it's okay to love each other. Back to that stuff, that's where my heart is at. And so ultimately, if you are not happy, like nothing matters. And it doesn't have to be the best job, and you don't have to be the business owner. What is going to make you happy? Because life is too short.
Yeah, it's about
Like,
balance,
literally.
and yeah, I see a lot of people losing balance, right? And
It's
like
hard.
Wilburn,
It's hard. My kids are struggling. Like, it's all of us. We're all trying
yeah,
to still like keep it. You know what I mean? We're all fighting for that.
Wheelburner said something good. Sometimes you need to put your ego aside, admit that you don't have all the answers to every question. It doesn't matter how long you are in business. There's always somebody who knows more. Now, here's the thing, and you touched on this. The two most important things is, number one, you got to drop your ego and your pride, and number two, you got to be honest with yourself. And what I have found is that most people failing in this business, not all, but most, is because their ego doesn't allow them to get help, and their pride allows them to think that they're better than what they are, and then they're lying to themselves. And when the truth finally hits them, it hits them pretty hard, and that's the moment that we all should be aware of. And the truth will set you free. That's not a light comment, right? And most people just are in the dark of their numbers. They're in the dark about what they're doing, and they got people that tell them what they can do to make it better, and they just ignore it. And
I'll tell you,
because
one of the hardest things in my life was getting real, raw, real, get down, facing God in my face, me and by myself, like, you know what I mean? And trucking allowed me that secluded area to get real. And again, I think, I'm not trying to be sexist or whatever, but Crystal, you might be able to agree with me. I think it's easier for us than it is for guys. We're a little bit more emotional, and we're more submissive, obviously.
Yes.
And so for men, I think that's a tough thing. And there's egos involved, and in this
Yes.
world, it's like you're supposed to be this, that, whatever. And God, it just went crazy. So it's even more of a battle today than I think it's ever been. And you don't have to. The thing is, getting real with yourself means that you decide that you're going to be free of everybody's judgment, and you're going to find you and tell yourself the truth. And that's a place that took me a lot of work to really, even though like I've pretty much been there my whole life, but I'm telling you, it was even way more work, more to get really down there. And I had to accept myself for who I am. I had to learn how to love myself, because for so long in my life, like, the world taught me different. I had a lot of work to do. And so I'm not going to say it's easy for anybody, because getting real is getting real. And it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to accept it at this. No, I'm talking about yourself. Like, tell yourself the truth. And be able to admit to yourself that you might be failing at this, or this isn't going so well for you, and be willing to be open to be teachable to those that are trying to help you. And also keep your eyes open and see what the Lord has for you that's opening up to you. It may not be the very thing that you're working your ass off to get. It may be, right, Steve? It may be something different. And Sterling, this is actually a good word for what's happening right now. And even myself, like, do you think I ever imagined in my wildest dreams, when I was married with 3 kids, that I'd ever be in a truck and have my own business and all this stuff? Like, you just never know. There's more out there than trucking, or there's more out there than, if this fails, like Steve, you were saying earlier, people say to you, well, what if? Well, guess what? Where one door closes, one will open. That's how the universe works. You just have to be in a humble position to take whatever that opportunity is and go get it. And hopefully it's something that you love. Right?
Maybe I'm jaded because of what we're going through right here. This stuff kind of I'm trying to be rude.
Hi, Wheelburger.
Give him a second. He'll figure out his audio.
Oh, he's going to wrap this up. He's going to wrap it up, and he knows what I'm talking about, so he's going to say it better.
Being honest with yourself is really important. Is being honest with yourself and where your emotions and you lie and not.
That's a hard thing for people.
It is really hard.
It's a short statement, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Being truly
real, man.
Okay with who you are and accepting yourself. Because if you can't accept yourself, no one else is going to accept you. The world isn't going to accept you. You gotta be okay with yourself.
Is it truly necessary to be accepted? It's an ego and pride thing in human nature, to be accepted by the world around you, or your friends, or your family, and that can drive you, but it can also drive you in a negative way as well, if you think about that.
No, that's the thing.
The drive to be accepted has driven more people crazy than probably driven them to salvation.
But I think accepting yourself is that start, though. That's you have to be okay with who you are.
It's just like being married. Like you realize that you can't. You go into it all excited and you have all these expectations, right? You gotta understand. This one thing I learned. This is so wise. One thing I learned a long time ago is an epiphany to me.
Okay.
Is that your disappointments in life, all the stuff that you feel all disappointed about, like it didn't go your way, those are all your fault. Because it's those expectations that you create. It's your fault. You're disappointed, or you feel let down because you're the one that expected or made that expectation for your spouse. You had this pretend idea of, Ken and Barbie in your head, or whatever it was. That was my problem. I had this idea of what it was supposed to be, what it was supposed to look like. When you start putting expectations on people in a relationship, whether it's business or otherwise, or that relationship is even with God or even with just the world, what your place in the world is. When you create expectations, you create your own hell, or you create your own heaven, or you just accept that you're not in control. And I find it's easier in my life that I give that over to God, so I don't have to carry that anymore, because
Yes.
I realized I was doing that, and that was one thing I had to stop doing. I was creating expectations for other people, and when I did that, even in my marriage, because I'm taking responsibility for some of it too. Even in my marriage that failed, I went through that point where it's all his fault, blah blah blah. I did nothing wrong. I was perfect, and I was pretty great, but I'm still taking the responsibility that I put very high expectations, and therefore caused some of my disappointment, which then I, in turn, put into the relationship.
But is that not just a factor of life? If you're going to put an expectation on anything, you also have to have in the back of your head that there is a chance that there's going to be disappointment. And that's part of being in life. That's part of the gamble that you take. If you're, let's just say that you're the employer, you run the business and you've got employees. You have certain expectations of your employees, and that's the way it has to be because you are the boss. But when you're looking at, say, a relationship, when you're dealing with love and emotions and spirituality and religion and anything like that, especially with relationships with other people, whether it be a loved one or a friend, you have to know that if you are going to set an expectation, that there is a chance that that expectation is not going to be met, and that you are going to experience either some kind of loss, disappointment, frustration, anger. Now, if knowing that ahead of time, people, and I won't say people, that's not fair. I'll use just myself as an example. I've learned that do not set my expectations for myself out of reach. Okay. Do not set things that are ridiculous. Do not put the expectation bar up here when I know realistically that I'm going to be around here. Meet my expectation, or try to meet my expectation. It's like the saying about perfection. As long as you're chasing perfection, you'll be doing fine, knowing that you're never going to reach it. You're never going to be perfect. It's the same thing with your expectations. Set your expectation, try to meet or exceed it if you can, but that know in the back of your head at some point in your life, the expectation you've set for your spouse, your wife, your husband, your dog, your cat, whatever, there's a chance it's not going to be met, and there is going to be disappointment. Now, when you take that disappointment, how you deal with that disappointment, that's on you. That is 100% on you.
Right. So right. I know you do talk about this a lot, because you've seen the young folks coming up, and you've seen the big dreams of the hood trucks and all this trucker stuff, right? And you've spoken on it before. That those expectations get ridiculous, right? And so people get out here and they fail, right? And honestly, like, I just go day by day. I don't know if I'll survive everything, and I'll be here in 5 years or still, who knows? All of us can say that. But surely in the trucking space. And so if this dear friend is struggling so bad, I just say reach out. You probably have a few good friends that have done it more down the road, and get their help and be teachable. Because that's another problem too. Guys have these expectations for their trucking business, and then people like Snorelord, or any of you, all of you guys have taught somebody, and you've seen people get in their own way and not listen to what
I'm sure Steve can relate to this, because he's got a lot of new guys, and I heard him say earlier he's dealing with a couple of guys that are failing. When somebody new in this business comes to me and says, I'm going to do this, and I want to get into trucking, the first thing I ask them is, what are your expectations? What are your expectations? What is the goal that you've set? What are your goals? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? What are those expectations? And if they start rambling on, well, I'm 5 years, I'm going to have 10 trucks. It's like, well, you might want to set the bar just a little bit lower. Let's be
Well,
realistic.
I would rather see that than, like, I asked that question to a driver just the other day. I said, what are your expectations? What are you expecting to get out of running the spot market? And he's like, well, I want $1,000 a day. I'm like, no. What are your expectations? Are you wanting to network? Are you wanting to do this? Are you wanting to do that?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. I just want to run loads.
Let's be realistic.
So, yeah, I mean, there's got to be a middle ground. You know, I had a 5-year plan, and I'm literally living that 5-year plan. My 5-year plan was to get out of the truck in 5 years being here. And that's literally when it happened, you know.
Yeah, like my 5-year plan got extended. But am I letting it crush me? No. Like it's just a twist in the turn in the road.
Right. But do you not find
I decide to roll with it, or I hand in the keys. Like
I just had a little birdie chirp in my ear, and they said something, and it makes perfect sense, and it's something that we don't have in this industry that we need more of. It's the teachers in this business, like the guys like Jeff, the teachers, the guys that are willing to openly share that. Not instead of when the newcomer comes to you and says this, and instead of going, yeah, well, fuck, good luck with that, see you later. Then you've got guys like Steve or like Snor or like Jeff or like me that'll say, wait a minute, hit the brakes here for a minute. Let's slow this down. I want you to think about and go through the process. We don't have the teachers that say that I did. I had old timers that were willing to take that time, that were successful, that knew things that I didn't know, and they were willing to openly share those things with us. We don't have that these days, or we do, but it's very few and far between that we come across people like that anymore. The teachers have either all retired and got out, or the ones that are still available, that are still running, that are still operating, they're just frustrated as hell because nobody wants to listen anyway.
You know what?
Because the first 15 words out of the person's mouth is, you say something to somebody, and the next words out of their mouth are, yeah, but, or they're doing the, yeah, I know. Well, if you knew, why is your truck wrapped around a pole and the freight in the ditch? If you knew.
There goes that whole, do you learn from it? Failures are not necessarily failures if you keep lessons.
So I had no expectation.
Crystal, you need to get closer to the mic. We can't hear you.
Do you turn those failures into lessons?
Yes.
What do you do with those? That's how you handle that.
How do you turn it? Well, I got no problem ever. And part of that I've learned because I have a very, very, very large ego. But something not me, no. But something I learned because I've been humbled many a time because my ego got out of control and somebody stomped my ego and said, listen here, this is what you're doing, and how's it working for you? Well, it's not. Well, then why are you still doing it? Oh, right. Wow, it's like definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Right.
Well,
I've been there, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
when I take when I do something and it doesn't work, I learn, I adapt, I overcome, and I improvise. Okay, I live by those 4. There's a guy sitting right beside me that worked for me for years, and he can attest to that. Okay, I live by that, and I have no problem admitting my failures. And if my failure is going to save you, Shannon, $20,000 down the road, I got no problem saying, listen, I fucked this up, and this is how I screwed it up. Please don't make that mistake. I'll say, if you come to me with a problem that I've already gone through, I got no problem telling you, this is how I failed. This is the advice I was given, and this is how I overcame, and then I carried on.
Right.
A lot of that is just, you have to be willing. I am still willing. Steve is willing to pass on knowledge. Jeff is willing to pass on knowledge, right? Guys like Steve and Jeff are few and far between nowadays. We don't have as many as we used to.
Let me interject here. Let me interject. One of my struggles this week is there was a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm done trying to teach these people, and that's a dangerous place for me to be. So thank you for your words, because basically, you're right. A lot of the people that are out here are jaded because there was 20 people before them that didn't listen. And I was a trainer at one time. I remember my trainer did the same thing to me. When I was training, the first thing I would say, okay, I've got a couple of rules. Number one, he shadowed me. So if we're dropping and hooking, you're with me. Number two, you are not allowed to use the words "I know," because you don't. Hate that. And so I remember one time we were trying to get in the Flying J there in Waco, and I'm like, okay, take a right. I know. Okay, we want to be in this gear. I know. We're in the wrong gear, and we go right past the Flying J. And if you know that Flying J in Waco, it's not easy to just turn around and go back to it. But that was so I've been struggling, but yet somebody said some really good words to me, mentioned Matthew 6, and said, you know what, Steve, don't let it keep you from doing what you do. And so that was the lesson. I was grateful for that lesson this week. And I had to get angry to get there.
I think an important lesson as well, Steve, is it doesn't matter how long we've been doing this. Okay, I can seriously sit and Shannon, don't take offense. I'm going to use you just as an example here. Okay, that's all this is. I could very easily sit there and go, oh, well, Shannon, you need to listen to me. I've been doing this over 30 years and you've been doing it for 7 or 8. So you need, you know what? There's been many, many a time where I'm watching or I'm listening to you, Steve, or Jeff, or even Shannon, or I don't care if you've been trucking for 30 years or 35 days. I will eventually pick out something that you're saying that will be useful to me. I will learn from anybody. I will learn from Red Lady, even though she's never turned a wheel in a truck. There is eventually going to be a golden little nugget that I call them. You guys have heard me talk about it. Eventually, somebody's going to drop a golden nugget, and I'm going to go, wait a minute. I can use that, and I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to put it in my little pocket, and I'm going to pull it out when I need it. And that's part of being a little bit humble, knowing that I don't have all the answers. Shannon has probably got an answer to a problem that I'm going to experience at some point in the future. And I'm going to have to call Shannon and go, hey, sweetheart, how did you deal with this? This is what I'm going through. This is what's happened. How did you get around it? And she's going to go, oh, well, and you know what? Here, the teacher now becomes the student. You got to be willing to accept that. You got to be willing to put it aside. I think that's, like I said, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. There's always somebody that's been doing it longer and better than you have.
Right. So for all these young people coming up, these millennials, I think that's a real big challenge because it's like they don't want to listen. And I'm not trying to be that. But if you're gonna come, look, if there's anybody new in here, if you're going to come in this industry, and I'll tell you as the youngest driver on this panel here, the best thing I ever did for myself was, and I still do it now, I'm always a student, like what Wilburner's saying.
Shut up and listen.
I'm always a student.
Yes.
Yeah,
I tell Beth that to this day. I'm the student, man. Teach me. I don't know this. I literally will, be teachable. If you want to learn this business really bad, and you want to work at it, and if you are failing, be teachable.
Yeah.
There's enough people out here to teach you.
So Wilburner, can I tell the crowd a story that involves me and you from about maybe 3 weeks ago?
Oh yeah.
Did I have my clothes on?
No, I think you were naked. You were driving, so you were naked.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Well, I was on the phone with Wheelburner, and you know me, I drive weird routes, and my phone reception always goes in and out. So I always warn everybody I'm talking to, hey, 7 minutes, my reception goes out. And while I'm talking to Wheelburner, I hear a distinct noise in the background that only Cascadias do. What was that noise, Wheelburner?
It was a low air buzzer.
And what happens on Freightliners that have the automated transmission, there is a low air buzzer if just in case you drag your brakes. So it's a pressure sensor. And there's a pressure sensor. There's a certain way to fix it. And I knew exactly what it was, but Wheelburner and I were talking for about 30 minutes, and then I interrupted half of our conversation and said, hey, I'm going to send you a link real quick on how to fix that buzzer. And we finished our bullshit conversation, and what was it? An hour later, you saw the video, and you were like, "Yeah, I could fix this."
Well, yeah, I fixed it. I hung up the phone from you, and I was going by the Freightliner dealership in Watertown, New York. I grabbed the phone. I called them because Sterling sent me the link to the fix, how to fix it, and in there was the part number. So I called the Freightliner. Says, "Do you have this part?" The girl said, "Yeah, we got it." 9 minutes later, I was there. 30 minutes later, I'd swapped out the part because it was just pull the bottom panels off, unplug, replug, tighten it back up. 30 minutes later. And that's a perfect example, right? Perfect example. I didn't know the answer. I was prepared to take my truck and hand it into the dealership and let them charge me however much an hour
So
to do a fucking 15-minute job.
How much was the part?
$168 US.
It's 4 hours labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I did it in the parking lot, right? The guy in the shop was actually good enough because I didn't have my torque bits with me.
Sure.
So he was actually good enough to give me the torque bits. I had the drill, and I did it myself in 15 minutes. So he saved me probably about a $550, maybe $600 bill, American, right? So that would have been like $700 Canadian on a 15-minute job that I did myself because the stupid buzzer was driving both of us nuts.
Oh, it was driving me insane. And I know you don't sleep in your truck. You don't leave the engine running, but I do. And I've had that problem happen to me before. And I went and fixed it myself and then told my boss, "Hey, you owe me $174."
Yeah, you also did the same thing. You did the same thing about 6 months ago with the seat. Remember my driver's seat? And you sent me the link. You sent me the link for Cash. Cash had just changed his. And it's the same thing. I watched Cash's video and I went, I can do that. All right. Unscrew, ordered the seat, put the seat in.
Yeah, so that brings me to the topic I have below there. Teachers
I should talk to him more often.
Have been replaced by influencers. How much do you see that as the biggest mistake in trucking industry right now?
Well, everybody's a goddamn influencer. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Let me throw a different perspective on this. Yes, that's a true statement. But YouTube is a treasure chest of knowledge.
It is.
So whether it comes from the influencer or whether it comes from the person that's genuinely trying to have an educational format, we're going to learn. We all, and even us, we all learn from each other, watching each other. You know what I mean? And we've become friends, and now we have a community of people that talk to each other. So we do this together. And if that could be on the forefront of truckers, that we can get that community back.
But if you think about it, if you take what Sterling said there about the teachers have been replaced by influencers, now the influencers have, in a sense, become the teachers, have they not? I got no problem where I get my knowledge from. Whoever teaches me, I don't care if it came off of YouTube.
Right.
I don't care if it comes off of TikTok. I don't watch TikTok or whatever. But let's just say, I am not picky about where I get my knowledge from. I'm not. I will take advice as long as it's creditable, and I respect you, right? And I can trust the source. I'm not that picky about where I get my knowledge from. I'm really not, because there's a lot that I don't know, and I'll admit it.
And there's a lot that you have to sift through, whether it's truth or not, right? Like
that is true.
I'm a research
Yes.
fanatic. Well, yeah.
That's the hardest part. I mean, think of how many times somebody has asked you on the street, "Hey, I saw a video on YouTube. Should I buy a box truck?"
Yeah. Or, well, YouTube says I'm going to make $200,000 clear every year. Yeah. Okay.
Red Lady has a story about that, by the way.
It's really tough when you have a friend who's struggling.
Yeah, I have a guy who works. He's an operator, and he was telling me he wants to become a truck driver, and that the recruiter he talked to told him, "Yeah, you can make $120,000 a year becoming a truck driver. And I looked at him and I said, what are you willing to give up? What that doesn't make any sense. 120
Yeah.
a year. Do you have hazmat? Does this include hazmat? What exactly? He goes, well, no hazmat, just being a truck driver. I said, well, dry goods or frozen? I mean, he's like, well, no, just like that doesn't make any sense. And he's blowing smoke up your ass. You need to do some more research before you decide to sign up as a truck driver. And
It's a matter of the bigger the number is, the more you're going to have to give up. You know, if somebody's telling you you're going to make 120, now 120 is not an unrealistic number. It's not. But you got to know for $120,000, you're going to be giving up a lot. You're not going to be at home much. You're not going to have much of a family. You're going to be on the roads. You know,
and that's what I explained to him. Is that you're giving everything to make that 120. You like to being that family man. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. What
Well,
price
you have to do your
for
time.
what amount of money?
You have to do your time, right? Like you can't, like Walmart pays that as a company job, but you can't just like come right out of CDL school and do that. You know, you got to build your way. You got to work for that. Like my first job was like 36 cents a mile, you know, and you just kind of build up from there, you know, and that's the same with owner operators. A lot of them are like, I started in a piece of crap truck, had 550,000 miles on it, 2009 Peterbilt 387, got crappy fuel mileage. And then I had to work my way to my Kenworth. You know, these people I want a brand new truck right off the bat, even though I barely know how to drive it, you know, and
so that goes back
you got
to
to work yourself up.
That goes back to setting expectations that are unrealistic. And yes, it does go to YouTube influencers a lot of times. It helps people create unrealistic expectations.
Right. And I asked him, are you going to be an owner-operator? Are you going to be a lease driver? Are you a company driver? What exactly do you go, I don't know. I said, so you haven't done your homework then. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, you need to do some more research. You need to ask people. I said, I can give you some channels to watch, people to ask. I said, 120,000, that's pretty tight. That's a lot of money in today's market, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What are you
I don't think it's realistic, you know.
What are you giving?
You have to be taught expectations.
I started at JB Hunt at 45 cents a mile, and I was on cloud 9. But I had to go OTR or regional. I had to go over the road for the first 2 years. They shortened it since then. But I wasn't going to get no choice at any job or anything like that if I didn't go do my time and pay my dues 2 years over the road.
Yeah.
Like that was a given. And I knew that's what I chose to, go do. But now it's like 6 months. Like JB Hunt will let you in there for 6 months.
Expectations should be told to you up front, though, and that's a problem with recruiters, right? Recruiters, they're like, let's face it, a recruiter is nothing but a salesman for that company, and he gets paid to put meat in the seat, and that's all he's there to do. If they were realistic about the expectations, okay, you've just come out of CDL school. For the first year and a half, you are going to be at the bottom of the food chain, but don't let that discourage you. You are going to be, the least paid. You're going to get the shitty runs. That's just the way it is. But if they tell you that up front and give you a realistic expectation of what to expect, then you're probably going to be a little better off because you're going to know and expect, okay, I'm not going to make 120 grand right out of CDL school. Whereas the recruiter is going to say, oh yeah, look at this guy over here. He made 135,000 last year. Yeah, but you know what? He's been trucking for 15 years, and he's at the top of the seniority list, and he gets the prime runs. He gets all that shit. You're not going to get that. Expectations should be explained up front, and I think if recruiters aren't willing to do it, then dispatchers should be responsible for doing it, or other fellow senior drivers should be willing to do it.
Yeah, and not only that, but if you're going to be bottom of the barrel, at least be the best one at the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
That was always my creed. Like whatever I find myself in, if I can get my toe in the door, I'm going to be the best dang toe in there. Like I'm going to be the best no matter what I'm doing, like that's how I want to be, like you know, because it pays off. Hard work pays off. I've always believed that.
So
Let's like, just let me in the door that much, and I'll prove myself.
I've always had that attitude, no matter where I go when I'm working. Just give me a chance. Let me in the door. Let me prove myself. Just give me that much of a chance. If you can just give me the chance and let me do what I do, then everything will work out okay. Just give me the chance. Give me the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So while I have all of you in here, let's pick on David Edwards for a little bit. He's a dear friend.
David Edwards.
Love David.
He's a company driver, and he started off. He's probably got about 8 months experience, I think. He's only at 44 cents per mile right now. But he says he's 8 months in, but it's a smaller, very stable company. I prefer stable versus chasing the dollar. I'm home every weekend. With the very little experience I have, I'm still doing 2,600 miles per week consistently. What do you guys feel about that?
That's exactly what I did at JB Hunt. That's exactly what I did for my team.
Here's what it's about.
Company. I work for a company, and I have worked for a company where I have been willing to take less money for stability. If you are going to offer me a stable place to work, and it's going to be consistent, and I'm going to be treated well, I will work for a few cents less a mile. Oh, because I will give up those extra cents for peace of mind. My peace of mind is worth more than $1 all day long.
Well, here's the thing. This is the most important thing that owner-operators and company drivers forget. It's about balance. Like me becoming an owner-operator, me becoming self-employed was not about the money. It was about balance. Where if I needed to be home, I could be home. Where if I needed to run, I could run. I could choose. If I had to run harder, I could. And I see so many people, they make great money being an owner-operator, but then their wives leave them, their kids hate them, her health goes away, and it's like, what's it all for? To me, it's about balance. And I had this conversation with Shannon when she first started. I said, Shannon, it's about balance because the grandkids are only going to remember when you're not there. They're not going to remember. The kids are only going to remember when you're not there. And so for me, balance was important. So when I came out of CDL school, Prime offered me a job. CFI offered me a job. They had a bus ticket waiting for me. And then Transland, locally here in Springfield, and everybody I talked to said Transland will get you home more. And I thought, well, that was more important. So we set our budget at X amount per miles, average a week. And it was a really good 6 years there. That was the only company job I've ever had, because I did, we made a little bit less per mile than what the market showed, but dude, I had balance. I was home every weekend, all
and
that
you were
stuff.
Content.
So, yeah,
you were happy and you were content. And when they came to you and said, "Okay, Steve, maybe we need you to do this or we need to do that," you were more willing to do it, were you not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at JB Hunt, it was mandatory. They sent me home every weekend, so it was all good. It was great, and that's okay. But as in any job, though, if somebody's not treating you right, like life is more than just money. Life, like there's no job. Doesn't matter how much money. Believe me, I can tell you this from experience. Doesn't matter how fancy the place that you work at, how everybody thinks that you got the graviest job. There's no amount of money that can replace your happiness. And if you're going to that job and crying every day all the way there, or you're having feelings of you want to end your life, or it makes you think that your life sucks, get out of it. Find something that you're passionate about, that makes life worth living, and go do that to the fullest. Because everything ain't everybody else's expectations. You don't have to have a hood truck. You don't even have to drive a truck to be cool. Like, it might not be your calling in life. There might be something else out there for you. And you can't put your family at that expense if you got wife and kids to support, right?
I've read stories of people who were making triple digits and they weren't happy in what they were doing. and they
Look at celebrities,
they
man.
went down to $21,000 or $50,000 jobs, and they were so much happier, more time with their family, doing things they loved.
Some of it in this industry also has to do with your passion for it and your love for it. Like,
yes.
and there's three. Let's use the three of us. Okay, we'll use Snorelord, me, and Shannon. Shannon's still doing this, and you can see it in her. She loves trucking. She loves doing what she's doing. She loves being on the road. She's got the passion. She's got the desire. She's got the fire. Yes, and because of that, she makes a decent living, and she's got a comfortable lifestyle, whatever, right? Steve, on the other hand, probably, I can't speak for you, Steve, but I would say that you did in the beginning. You thought trucking might be it. You came into it. You enjoyed it. You loved it when you were doing it. But then you know what? Expectations change. The desire changed. You had other ideas of what you want to do, and you put those plans in place and you acted upon it. You got out of trucking. You're not driving a truck anymore, but yes, you're still in the business. Now you're doing something else that you're passionate about, that you love doing, you know, and I'm no different. I still wake up every morning in my truck. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm at the end of my career, so it's starting to wind down. Do I jump out of bed and go, let's go trucking like Shannon does? No, I don't. Right? But do I still enjoy doing what I'm doing? Yes. Am I still good at what I do? Yes. And am I still able to do it? Yes. But I do have a goal, much like Snorelord did, that I see the end of that tunnel, and I'm working towards that goal as we speak right now. Right? And everybody has to have that goal of, you know, and first of all, you have to have the passion, desire, and the love to do this. You have to realize that trucking is not a job or a career. It's a lifestyle. You're living it every day. You wake up in your truck, you're living that lifestyle, right? When that no longer applies, you better have a second plan. You better have an ulterior plan, or you better have the next step in your life ready to go, because you're going to need it. Because if not, you're going to be irritable, discontented, miserable, while you're doing the job as a truck driver. And any of us that have been out on the road, we can probably throw a rock in any direction and hit one of those guys.
You just never know what's going to happen in life, man. So you got to try to be able to be flexible, teachable, and move and pivot. You know,
Agreed.
Like Sterling did a fine job of that. He decided to close his business, which he worked very hard. He met a beautiful woman. She took over. She swooped in and swept him off his feet, and his whole life pivoted and changed in a direction he did not foresee.
Hold on. Did you say she swept him off his? No, she snowplowed him off his feet.
And
there was no broom involved there, man. Sorry, that was a snowplow.
It changed the whole course of his trajectory, right? And there are still changes to come in his life. I know it. And, and he's open. I think he's open, but the main thing is you know, he's going to be happy living this life, like whatever move that has to be,
right?
You know? And he just like, look, your truck, Brian, your truck could blow up again tomorrow. My truck could blow up. We could get, God forbid, in some other unfortunate situation, and life changes instantly. Look at when you lost your sight, brother. Oh my God, did you see that coming? No, not at all. And it's
fun. Did you see that coming?
It's a miracle that you are still driving today. Let's be honest. You know,
I think that life throws you lessons, not lessons, and how you choose to handle those lessons. There's so much.
It's true. It's true, because
so much.
even my hardest lessons made me who I am today. I'm still gonna be grateful for them, even though they were tough, right? Brian, right. It's not like all of you on this panel have been through your trials.
I just want to take a quick break for a friend of the channel, Trucking with Liberty. He's backing away from the industry. He's got a trailer for sale, so check out his channel. It's a 2022 Sloten Z-plate trailer for sale. He wants about 30 grand for it. So That's the picture of it right there.
You lost your sight. Did you see
It would
that?
be awesome if he would come in and
Yeah.
talk about the change in his direction. Since we're on the
Yeah,
topic,
he's
like,
going to put out a video here in a little bit. So that's pictures of the trailer. Check out his channel, and it's got the aerodynamic kit on it. It's a really good trailer, and he's got full maintenance history and everything. So please, if you can, check out his trailer. And while
what
I
year
have
is it?
2022, while I have Wheel Burner here, I'm going to pose you a question. I have asked everybody here in the chat. Everybody on the screen right now has gone through a pretty crazy, absolute insane week. What got you to where you are right now? How did you survive this week?
Smoking cigars and hanging out with my cousin and reconnecting with a cousin that I haven't seen. Or I grew up with my cousin when we were kids, obviously, and we were all kids and being cousins, and we all grew up together. But then there was a lot of years that went by where, you know, she moved away and there was a distance gap between us. And even though her husband, Mike, Big Mike, who does all my music for me, even though he came to work for me, there was still a bit of that gap there, even though it was a little bit closer. But for the last 10 days I've been off, I've been able to be home. I say home, but I'm at her place.
Sure.
And I've been able to reconnect with her. And we've spent hours upon hours of just sitting in this room. I'm sitting out back in like a glass solarium, whatever you call these. And we've spent hours, and then we sat out by the fire a couple of nights, and we were just connected. And we talked about everything from when we were kids right up until our families, because they've got two beautiful daughters and I've got kids, and just talked about life in general. And it didn't have to be about trucking to get me through what's going through with the truck and what's going on in my life. It just happened to be that I was able to reconnect, because I can't go to work and pay for that. That's something that's you can't purchase that. Right. And I got to sit here and this is where, like, with Dar being out west, out in Alberta, and I'm still in Ontario working, this is where I'm going to be this is where I am on the weekends when I'm finished work all week. And it's great because now I've got my cousin who I love very, very much. I got Mike as well, who I love very, very much. And I got these great people, and I'm reconnecting again with a family member of mine that I missed. You know, I'm not close to a lot of my family. I'm truly not. I've got my brother, like my younger brother, who I'm very close with. And I've got one other cousin who I'm close with. And then there's my cousin Amy, who I adore and love more than anything in the world. And I've now reconnected with her. And I've got more I mean, I don't want to sound sappy, but I've got more payment for my soul this week than I could ever make in a lifetime worth of dollars. I can't buy this. I can't buy this. You can't put a price tag on what I in the back of my head gone, okay, yeah, I got to call the shop. I got to find out with the truck. Yeah, of course. But all week long, it's just been sitting here with her. She's gone through an episode. She's been battling. She battled cancer, and she's gone through hers, and she's come out the other end, and she's looking. Her battle's not over yet, but she's battling, and she's putting up a good fight. And we're just here together, and the kids are here. And Mikey comes in off the road. He came in off the road today or last night, so now he's here, and it's just a good family thing, and it's food for the soul and for the spirit.
And tomorrow night,
I'm going to the races. Tomorrow night, I'm going to the
Yeah.
races again, and I get to hang out with my family at the races. And like I said, you can't buy that. I don't give a fuck
Right.
how many zeros are on the end of that check. You can't buy it.
Nice.
And that's what's got me through the last 10 days.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sterling, you answer the question. What's gotten you through this?
Oh, so I've had some issues at work. I'll go ahead and say it right now. Right Arrow Trucking has implemented driver-facing cameras. We've had them for quite a while. We've had them since 2018. But now it is controlled by AI, and they have taken control away from. See, and I'll talk in coded manners, but any of you that know me personally know exactly what I'm talking about. They've taken the power away from the contractor. I don't work for Right Arrow Trucking. I work with Right Arrow Trucking. And now the Lytx driver-facing cameras report directly to corporate. And they've taken the contractor out of the equation. So if I violate simple things such as a belt violation or a cell phone violation or a harsh braking event, anything like that, FedEx or Right Arrow Trucking knows about it before my contractor knows about it. And then now my contractor has to show evidence constantly that they are coaching me. Have events that happen.
No,
they have to show that they're coaching coach. So I reached out to a few people this week and I told them my issues, and I am in the prospect of finding a new job. I have 2 million miles experience, and I feel, trucking doesn't care about your feelings. DIY Semi will tell you about that. But I feel with 2 million miles experience, do I really deserve to have constant coaching and constant, little altercations all day? And it's gotten to the point where I drive nervous now. And now while I'm sleeping, I'm thinking, oh my, did I shut the curtains far enough? Can it see if I'm sleeping? I've got this anxiety while I'm driving, even though I have 2 million miles experience just on this route that I drive alone between Reno and Portland, between the company that I ran myself and this company that I'm working for now. Easily over 500,000 miles experience. I am the only driver in the last 16 months that hasn't had an accident, an incident, or a ticket on this route.
Hang a sock over it so you don't know what happened.
And as Mike was saying there in the background, if you try to cover the camera at all, it's instantly a 10-point violation. Harsh braking is 5 points. Distracted driving, holding a cell phone in your hand, is 8 points. So they just add these points up all the time. And now Lytx is not telling us exactly, are those points every week? Are those points every day? Are those points every quarter? Basically, they're building an HR case against all of us. And guess what? In 3 to 6 months, when the economy is turned to shit, they're going to look at the drivers that have the highest number of critical events, and those are the drivers that'll get fired first. And guess what? I'm the third highest paid driver in the company. They're going to save money by getting rid of me because I held my cell phone a little bit too many times, or I did a harsh braking event. Not only that, but this AI bullshit fucking Lytx camera, and this is my show, I can cuss. I'm sorry that some of you have posted to your own channels. It has caught me. Sometimes I wear my high visibility vest when I'm driving, and it's only because I've got extra pockets. I can put my cell phone in a pocket. I got my ID badge, and everybody, including me, will laugh in the background because I look like a JB Hunt driver. But the problem is the reflectivity of the vest confuses the camera, and it thinks that I'm not wearing a seatbelt. Instant 8-point violation. So I've gotten to the point right now, and I even told my boss, who's actually a good friend, I told him today, it's like, hey, I don't like my job anymore. I do this better than anybody else. I do this job better than you do. You're not the one that wants to do my route anymore. And I've taken over your truck to do the route that you don't want to do. And the fact that there's no leeway as far as hey, you're a good driver. We've had you for years. Why should we worry about you? We should trust you as a 2 million mile safe driver. Not only that, but I've been an owner operator. I've been a trainer. I've worked safety functions. By all means, yes, yes, there's a bit of, I'm better than this job. I'm highly experienced. And I can relax. I can be complacent a little bit because I know I'm better than everybody else around me. Maybe that is a problem. And honestly, in the eyes of the lawyers and the insurance companies, yes, I am a very high risk driver because I'm highly experienced and I'm lackadaisical. And yes, maybe I will take a few more chances. You know, I'll pick up the phone on a job that I'm required to use a telephone, by the way, a cell phone. I have to use it for dispatch. I have to use it for communication. Management contacts me by text all the time. So it's a weird double-edged sword that I'm dealing with. And it pisses me off. And I don't love my job anymore. I was talking to Wheelburner earlier today. We love our jobs. We are the last of the cowboys of the trucking industry. And the only reason that we do this job, rather than smoke pot and drive a fucking forklift, we love our job. And I can't love my job. And I told my boss today, it's like, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping now because I'm worried about being nervous driving all day. Yet somebody cuts me off. I'm like, oh my God, did it fucking record? I look at the camera. How is that not distracted driving? I look at the camera's going to bark at me and say, seatbelt violation, cell phone violation, distracted driver violation. I got 13 fucking gears to manage. I've got 38,000 pounds in the fucking trailer. I'm hauling doubles or triples. I've got a fucking job to do. Leave me the fuck alone. And why is this not the same as when they put the driver's logs in there as driver harassment? Why is that camera sitting up there not fucking driver harassment? And that's the issue that I posed to my boss today. And thank God that I talked to Snorelord and I talked to Wheelburner and I talked to Shannon because I cooled down and I didn't come into the office with this heated attitude. But my boss understood where I came from. And then today, when I got my delicate wrist slapped by the new safety manager, I came in there with full confidence and I said, yeah, pull up the videos and I'll show you exactly what I was doing. One of the videos, I was looking down a little bit too much. I was looking down for a total of 5 seconds, exactly 5 seconds, and it counted it as distracted driving. What was I looking down at? My truck has a mechanical issue right now, and the low coolant sensor, Brian, you know about it.
Yeah.
The low coolant sensor was going off, and I have to press engine override every 30 seconds to keep the truck running. If I hit a bump just right, it'll be fine. It'll fix itself. So I'm looking down at the dashboard. 30 seconds, I press the button. Every 30 seconds, I press the button. Every 30 seconds, I press the button. Because my head was against the headrest when I was doing it, distracted driving, 8-point violation. So that's what I've been dealing with the last few days and all that stuff. And it's just, I've gotten to the point where there's enough reasons for me to take the trucking industry. And thank God I'm not an owner operator anymore and dealing with open smart market and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to love this career. I used to love this job. I don't know if I told you about it today, Wheelburner. I told Snorelord about it, and I think I told Shannon about it. I'm hooking up an empty trailer, and a driver hit the trailer next to me with his own trailer and pushed that trailer against me and almost squished me between two different trailers while I was trying to hook up my set. And what do? Do I run underneath the trailer? Do I record? Do I run my app to dispatch and complain and say, hey, this driver tried to fucking kill me? And look, he ripped the marker lights off his trailer while he was doing it. No, I kept my mouth fucking shut. I hooked up my trailers. I did my job, and I came home today.
Yeah.
So what's worse, me being recorded on camera on this stupid AI bullshit for minor, altercations? What's worse, or a bunch of rookie drivers? There's a reason it's called Swift White. It's the same color. I'm a little heated. I'm sorry.
Well, Sterling, you and I were talking earlier, and something that we did both touch on, and Dar just said it as well. Ever since we've come up with the E-log, And then we've got the. I got no problem with an outward-facing camera. It saved many a truck driver, and it saved a lot of people a lot of headache. I've got no problem with that. But that inward-facing camera, and you take the inward-facing camera that's continuously watching at all times. That thing is running. It's always on, and it's grading you, and it's watching you, and there's points, and there's. Now you're being, now you've got a score to uphold and you have to keep a certain number. Do we need this stress? I have never in my life been as stressed and tired, working tired as I am now that I'm working with an electronic logbook that in the morning when you go on duty, the clock starts. And you are basically all day long, you're racing the clock. You've all heard that saying. You are racing the clock. Well, that, to me, puts stress on me. I'm racing a clock, okay? And then now you've got a camera that's now watching every single thing that I do. Everything. Now, I don't have an inward-facing camera on my company doesn't have them, but the last company at ET did. And that was one of the reasons I left, because it was starting to get ridiculous. You got an itch on your leg. You reach down and scratch your leg and you got 3 points. It's like, what the hell are you doing here? Right. And I'd go into the HR office and I'd be in there arguing every single point. It's like, that's no good. You can't give me anything for that. I was scratching my ass. You can't do that. What's that? Well, you were reaching for your cell phone. No, I wasn't. I turned the volume down on my stereo. You can't prove that I was doing anything with my cell phone. And I don't need that stress. I don't need it. Well, I've got enough stress on the road. Okay. I can guarantee you 30 to 40 people a day make it home to their loved ones because I'm a professional driver. And because they did something stupid, and because of my professionalism and my experience, your loved ones came home that night and they don't even know it. They don't know that they came that close to losing their life. But it was the fact that somebody like me that knows how to do my job was in a position to save your life and you didn't even fucking know it. That's the kind of stress that I deal with. And now you want to put a camera on me and make me race a clock and give me points and deduct points. I don't need that. I don't need that.
A lot of
us. I call that right now the dirty part of this business. I don't like that part of the trucking business. There's the business of trucking and there's the trucking business. This is trucking business. I don't like this part of the trucking business. I really don't. I don't think. And I think if you take the new drivers that have never experienced the paper logs and never been able to pull over and grab a half-hour nap and make it up down the road, blah, 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 and they don't know the difference, then that's one thing. But when you've got guys like me, like Mike, like a bunch of other guys like Sterling, that we know how to operate and do our jobs, and we know how to make time up, and we know how to do things safely. Why are you fucking breathing down our necks? It's not necessary. All you're doing is producing a whole next generation of tired, stressed out truck drivers. I've never been so tired in my life working. Since I've had an e-log.
A lot of us got into trucking because we didn't want a boss breathing down our neck all the time, like at a factory or in an office, right?
Good point.
And now it's all gone. So it's gone.
Okay. Just gonna drive down the road naked. Give him something to look at.
As Mike is saying, drive down the road naked.
You don't want to see that. Trust me. The other night he ripped off his shirt sitting in a chair. It was like 900 degrees out here. He's like, he turned to both me. It's bad when he turns to his own wife and says, "I'm really sorry," and he pulled his shirt off. It's like, oh.
Sorry about the fatness. Here it comes. But I'm gonna party naked in the truck all night if they do that. That's fine. You know what? All you can do, Sterling, is just drive the goddamn truck and do your best. And if they want to cease and do what they do and deduct points and let it happen, and the chips will fall where they may.
Yes.
You can't beat it. You can't join it. And you just got to do you. But don't let it ruin your fucking day and go down the road thinking, well, I'm going to lose this, that, and the other thing. as long as they pay you and you get your check and you're good. I mean, what are you gonna do? Switch jobs every time someone puts a camera on you? It is the way it is, and until we're
don't ask Wheelburner what I've actually done this week.
What?
Don't ask Wheelburner what I've actually done this week.
No,
I've got applications out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like when they implemented the cameras and everybody, like I got my experience at CR England. We had driver facing cameras in 2012. So when it implemented at Pine Arrow Trucking, speaking coded, we had 4 people walk off the job in the safety meeting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I understand it's stressful and stuff, but you know, those people came back, and one of the people, the first person to walk off the job when that happened, a week later, somebody came up an on-ramp, got in front of his semi-truck, slammed his brakes, and got T-boned by the semi-truck. They were able to give that camera footage to the CHP, and it saved his job.
Yeah.
So instantly we were like, okay. You know, inside camera, not so much. Who gives a shit? But the outside camera saved his job. And I'm okay with that.
So am I. I got no problem with an outward facing camera. I've never been a beneficiary of it, but I have other friends that have. That you know that back in the day, if that camera wasn't on, the truck driver was taking the heat for that accident, and it wasn't his fault.
Instantly fired.
You know, there's nothing you can do about it. But nowadays, the outward-facing camera, I'm good. Inward, not. And just so you guys know, in Canada, there's now been 2 cases that the 2 drivers took to the Supreme Court of Canada and won with the inward-facing cameras, saying that it is a violation of your privacy because your truck is considered your home domain. That's your domicile. That would be like saying to the CEO of the company, okay, sir, you're working from home this week. Okay, we're coming in. We're going to put a couple of cameras in your living room to watch what you're doing while you're in your living room. And that's, you know, that would never fly. So why is it allowed in our trucks? And so, and I'm only speaking for Canada. I don't know where you guys are in the States, but we are fighting back in Canada, and we've already got 2 cases where we have won, and it's starting to get some traction.
Right.
Say something.
Hold on. What's that, Sterling?
No, you're 100% right.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. The outward facing camera, when I went back to KBD, has helped me in a lot of ways. I got a lot of following too close, and I got a lot of passing trucks. When a car goes by me, I jumped out too quick.
Sure.
And I was about 80-some% safety rating. I've learned now how to hang back and leave a lot of room between me and the truck. When a car goes by me, my old bad habits now, I wait, then I go out and I make sure the car is gone and I pass. I've changed my speed and the way I drive after 30 fucking years. I'm 99% on my safety rating. I'm 2 out of 20 in KBD and 10 out of 120 in Anderson in safety now. And it's made me aware that I had some bad habits. Now, I don't have a front-facing camera. We have a blocker on that, so I can't speak to that. But the frontward-facing camera has made me less of a liability and increased my safety rating because I had to kick a few old habits and I had to relearn my spatial. And it's really helped me how to slow the fuck down and just chill. Because if I'm doing, 65 or 60, I'm not getting there any faster. And it's really helped me kind of slow down and just enjoy my day. I will say that for the front-facing camera. And if someone, cuts me off or does something stupid, it's going to help me in court. But I've really learned how to chill. And I really enjoy it for that factor. Because now my camera never goes off because I had to relearn some stuff. And I'm fine with that. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. And that's cool. Now, the front-facing one, I don't know what I would do if they turned it on and every 5 minutes I was losing 8 points. I mean, I guess you just lose points till someone just shows you the fucking door, and after that, I don't know what I would do. But I feel you on that. And it's actually humiliating to think about it.
It is. It is.
I feel you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Brian, while I have you here, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Wheel burner on the hot seat. I don't know if I asked the question earlier because I'm a little drunk. What got you through the fucking week? What has gotten you to the point right now?
We just did this.
That's right. You said it was family, right?
With my family, getting to hang out with my cousin and reconnect with my cousin.
Are you going to return to YouTube anytime soon? We gonna see another wheel burner video here in the near future?
I don't know. You know what we were talking about earlier about trucking, and you've got the love and the desire, and you've got the fire. I don't have that for YouTube right now. You know, I'm here out of respect to you because I like and I enjoy hanging out with you. And I saw that Snorelord was here and and you sent me the link. So I come in and say hi. But as for my own, you know, I don't know. It's like, I don't feel like doing a live if I don't have anything to offer you. And right now I just, you know what, I've got nothing really that I feel is worth offering. So I just, you know, I'm content to just hang out and sit in the background. And you know what? If all of a sudden I wake up one morning and this is what happens to me, I'll wake up one morning and I'll have 30 ideas.
Oh, yes.
I'll have 30 ideas and I can't get them out fast enough. And then I will bombard the shit out of all of you. Okay. And then you'll be irritated to the point you'll be going, oh, for Christ's sake, Brown, shut up, you know? But until that happens right now, you know, I'm just on, let's just say that's like YouTube burnout, I guess. I don't know. We all go through it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just, am I in a mood? Yeah. YouTube's not going anywhere. It's going to be there tomorrow, the next week, week after that, you know?
Yeah. And I've had a few friends ask about you and stuff. So, I mean, for anybody watching, you know, is there anything you want to say? Just, you know, positive vibes over here, even though Shannon's not in here.
Do I have anything positive to say? Yeah. Live every day as if it's your last, because one day you're going to be right. Don't get no more positive than that.
Yeah.
Will you be quiet over here? I got my own audience sitting right here, right?
Dar says you're not allowed to YouTube when you come home.
No, and I fully expect not to.
Oh, he'll be busy.
You know, I've got a list of things that I need to do when I get home, and one of them is I need to spend as much time as I can with my wife. I've been away for almost 5 weeks. You know.
So you literally have a new house. Have you even seen it?
I've lived in my new house for 4 days.
Oh.
4 days. 5 days. I think I lived in my house for 5 days, got back in my truck, and I'm now here I am. So yeah, I want to go. The house is nice. Yeah, I want to go home and see my home and experience, but that's where my family is. I want to be with my family right now. I've been away for 4 or 5 weeks now. It's time to go home.
Yeah. Do you just fly home or take the train or what do you guys?
I fly home. Right now we can fly in Canada. Right now it's pretty cheap. I can fly from Ottawa, Ontario, all the way out to Calgary, Alberta. I can fly round trip for $200.
Holy crap. That's not at all.
So it's worth it to fly. You fly home.
How many days did it take you to move? Like hitting the road, get home?
Left on Sunday. We loaded the truck. The movers loaded the truck on Sunday. And mind you, we didn't kill it. We weren't trying to break any speed records, but we loaded the truck on Sunday and we were 4 days. Right. And that was stopping every night, checking into a hotel, driving. You know, we didn't drive I didn't run out my logbook by any means. Dar was in one car. My daughter and her boyfriend were in another car. So, you know, they've never driven cross country before. They've never seen any of this. So they wanted to stop. They wanted to look at stuff. They wanted to take pictures. And why not? They don't get the chance to see it.
You better clarify that, by the way. You are on YouTube. Dar and her boyfriend driving.
Did I say that? Dar and her boyfriend? No, I said my daughter and her boyfriend.
Okay.
It could have been Dar and her boyfriend. I would have never known because she was driving 7. At one point, she stuck with me. The kids just buggered off, right, in their car.
Oh, sure.
But Dar stuck with me in the truck, right? She stayed by me for the first day and a half because it takes 2 days just to drive out of Ontario. And just as we were coming out of Ontario into Manitoba, I could hear it in her voice. She just went, "Fuck it," and she took off. Right? All I saw was a red Honda Civic Sport and taillights go. And that was it. So she might have had a boyfriend in there. I don't know. She had lots of time to drop him off, and who knows?
We got to say hi to Camille. He stopped in here for a second and say hi. It's morning where he's at in Pakistan.
Oh, yeah. He's my Camille. Camille is my boy. He's my guy. Him and Tolga.
Look, he's wearing your T-shirt.
Oh, he is, eh?
He says, "Sorry, I'm late. I just woke up at 7:14 a.m. It's already tomorrow there."
Yeah. What's the weather like for us tomorrow? Hey, what's the lottery numbers? You're in tomorrow. What's today's lottery numbers?
Who's president now?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I'd love to hang some more, but I'm going to go watch some movies with the family here.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for stopping by, Brian. I know we had a brief little talk today, and I just wanted to welcome you to the Church of Wheel and welcome home.
No problem. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Steve, always a pleasure to see you, man.
Same here, man.
All right, man.
Good to
Talk
see
to you
my
guys
friend.
later.
Yep.
Talk to you later, Sterling.
See you, Wilbur. And of course, he had a very humble name of God of all things wheels. I think we had a pretty good show here, Steve. There's a couple things like, you and I talked a little earlier today and a lot about spirituality and stuff. And I'm glad Shannon stopped in as well. And, there's a few people we know that are struggling in the industry. Hell, I called you today because I was struggling and you had some good words. And is there anything else you'd like to add to it?
No, I think I was pretty, I didn't expect this to go that deep. Like this, when I was like, I'll join, I figured it was going to be some fun thing. And here we are getting totally spiritual and in depth and all that, which is good. I think, look, here's the thing. What I've learned from my spiritual journey is that throughout life we plant seeds and hopefully that they bear fruit, and if one of us said some words today that might help someone later when they're watching the show, then that's what it's about. And it's all about the little moments. It's about balance, and it's about figure out what you need and who you are, and make sure you listen to the correct voice. So there's a voice out there that wants to make you believe that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve this, or you do deserve this, and that's the wrong voice. You want to listen to the voice that's telling you that you are somebody, that you can do this, and that you'll get through this.
That's a big struggle as well. A lot of us have been, we've talked to recruiters and trucking companies and stuff like that, and fallen for the big dream and, be your own boss and all that stuff. And what do you do when, like you say, you've planted the seeds and what if 90% of those seeds don't propagate into anything good? What do you do?
Just worry about the 10% that did.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's that's how life is. I mean, think of in nature, how many turtles, sea turtles. Look how many eggs they lay, right? And how many of them actually, what's the percentage to actually grow up to be adult turtles? It's a part of life, and being able to be empathetic and be able to listen to people and understand their nature, is important. I remember we were sitting with friends in Arkansas, and one of our drivers called, and she was being kind of emotional, and it wasn't Shannon, it was another one of our female drivers. She was having a fuel issue. And I was able to calm her down, and my wife was telling our friends, in the background, I was like, yeah, he's dispatcher, safety manager, and park counselor too. And I took that as a compliment because you don't get that from other companies, and I have my struggles too,
The role that you play in like trucking, other bigger trucking companies have been sued because somebody gave certain advice. It hurt somebody's feelings, and then they sue the company. So your position in that company, and the advantage of running for a smaller company like trucking, is that you do get that personal touch, that personal advice stuff.
I think it's really important to remember that. I think it's important to remember that. I hate the word failure. Lessons. We have lessons in life, and how you choose, what direction you choose to take those in. That's what really matters.
Right.
You can learn from them, or you can let them kick you in the balls.
Or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Learn from the kick in the balls.
But learn. And have it make you stronger. I mean, we all experience it, and we all have lessons that we have to learn. We all have difficulties in life. But
that's why I like this band so much, Crowbar. You and I have talked about this, Sterling. Some of the lyrics are just, they hit you right there. There's one of their songs where the chorus goes, "Learn from all this, learn to be a man, and through these broken hands I've wiped the tears," and that's how life is, and I've beaten my steering wheel. I've hit that panic point out on the road. I've had trials and tribulations with my relationships and with my family, and it has, people mistake, they see me calm, cool, talk about the spot market crap, and they think that I wasn't born into that. I've had my trials and tribulations. I've had my down days. I've been out weeks at a time. I've done, and what I've learned out of all of it, trucking made me the man who I am today. And it made, before that, I wasn't really a good man. I wasn't a good leader. I wasn't good at being sensitive to other people's needs. And trucking taught that. Trucking taught me gratitude. When I come home and I'm grateful to be in my bed, I'm grateful to be with my wife, I'm grateful to see my kids, I'm grateful to see, my music collection, I'm grateful to be able to play my guitars, because, yesterday I wasn't doing that. Yesterday I was in the middle of Atlanta fighting for a parking spot, or trying not to get mugged by a homeless dude, or, yesterday I was in the middle of Chicago, trying not to get my mirrors knocked out, so, this job, trucking, had taught me gratitude, patience, anger management, and the ability to just listen, because, and at the end of the day, when I first became an owner operator, we went through the worst case scenario, and my goal was always about balance. I knew that being an owner operator at Prime wasn't going to be balance, because I saw it not fail, but I saw it destroy lives over and over and over. And what I'm learning now is that a lot of pain is self-inflicted, and some people just don't want to be healed. They'd rather stay in their comfort of discomfort, but you have to be uncomfortable to grow.
Yes.
And that's what trucking taught me, is I'm uncomfortable. I don't have the best bed. I don't have the best position. I don't have the best whatever, but at least I'm here. At least I have this. And when I'm home, I appreciate it more.
And that's something that reading Ryan Holiday has taught both of us, that the obstacle is the way.
Yeah. That's just part of life. And the word failure is misused. It's weaponized. Even a catastrophic
there's
failure.
A lot of shame put assigned to it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and that's yeah, that's it's misguided, you know. And you ask any inventor, you ask any artist, you ask any creative outlet, you know, that there's like, dude, I used to be a BMX freestyler. How did I learn to do the tricks? By falling down on my ass a lot, you know, cursing, throwing the bike a few times, but then when I did that trick flawlessly, man, it was like, there's the reward, man, you know. And failure makes the reward of success much more sweeter. So
there's a question that I want to pose to you and also the comment section at the same time. I personally have a struggle with, you know, I'll do my route, and I've been blessed with a route where I go out, sleep in the truck, and I come home. And on that route that I'm coming home, I have all these plans for, I'm going to do this and this and this and take care of all these different projects when I get home. And when I get home, I'm so exhausted from thinking about those projects, what I'm going to do, you know, how am I going to be nice to Red Lady? What am I going to do? And I get so fucking exhausted by the time I get home, I don't want to fucking do anything at all. How do I overcome that? What am I? Should I just come home, sleep for a little bit, and then try taking care of some stuff? Like what am I doing wrong?
well, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's what's happening is, you know, procrastination is a form of anxiety.
Big time.
And so the exhaustion will improve as you improve your diet. The clarity will improve as you improve your diet, but also start small, dude. You know, like if like, you know, I want to make some music, right? And my wife and I have had this conversation. So if I think of the big project that I want to do, I may not do it because I don't feel like I can attain that. It's like, you know, we were talking about false expectations. But if I start small, like, okay, I'll do 5 minutes of guitar every day and I'll record it on my phone. And then after about a week, I'm going to have like 20 minutes worth of music, right?
True. Yeah.
And now suddenly the picture comes into play. You know, start small. You know, you don't have to come home and tell Red Lady, hey, we're going to do this extravagant big thing. I'm going to pay complete attention to you. No, you give her a hug and you hang out and you ask her about her day and what things have been going on. And then you just start small. And then as far as projects go, I have a lot of projects. I got a gate, you know, a fence that needs to be fixed. We got mold in the bathroom we got to take care of. We've got, you know, I've got the lawn to do. I've got the garage to deal with. I've got to set up my PA. I've got to, you know, I'm still trying to make music. I still run my YouTube for the church. I still got my main YouTube, which I didn't do a live feed today because I had to concentrate on booking a truck. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of it really, it doesn't matter as far as the big scheme of things, as long as you're there for Crystal and she and you give her the attention. You know, you're overthinking it, right? You're just start small. You know, the whole thing about my trip to Nevada, it was all the small things. It was when we went shooting, or it was when I got to do my morning walk. It was when I got to drink morning coffee in the backyard and see the green grass and see the desert, you know, and the quietness of it. It was, you know, at your wedding reception, it was the small moments, watching the kids all have fun and you know, having the food and watching you two, you know, on your first day of being wed, and just, it was all the small moments. I didn't, you know, there's a term called Disney Dad, where, you know, there was a time where before I got custody of my oldest daughter, I felt like I had to bribe her, like I had to buy her gifts every time she came over, but then I became broke. So I couldn't buy her gifts. Next thing you know, she didn't want to come over, and I accused her mom of setting her against me. And so I went to the library, because this is before the internet. Went to the library and read up what happened, you know, best things to do for divorced dads to do with their kids. Yeah. And it said, do the small things. And I started to do that, and and later on we end up getting custody of her, but it was the small things that she remembers. It's the small things that your kids remember, like the trips I took with my dad in his truck. It was the small things. It wasn't some big extravagant thing we did. It was the little things. And so when you start small, then eventually it snowballs. Like working out. I read the story of this guy who wanted to work out, and all he did was put his shoes on for so many days straight. And then he realized, well, since I got my shoes on, I've been doing this for a month. How about I just actually get in the car? And he got in the car for a little bit and almost drove to the gym, but didn't. But
Right.
after a while, it turned into that. It eventually graduated. Now the guy works out, an hour every other day, and so he had to conquer that. You have to create habits and stuff. And so if you overthink it, just know what's important. And time with your family is important. Balance is important. The projects will always be there, as long as nothing's falling apart or, gathering rust. I mean,
So as men and in our late 40s and stuff like that, we don't realize that we make small adjustments to our life every day, small changes of habit and stuff like that. How come it seems to reach a point to where it just becomes a huge landfall? It's like you've changed your diet with small, not necessarily huge drastic changes, but like how do we adjust when the result that we're currently living has been the result of just small little, I'll just buy a pack of gummy bears. I'll just have a Red Bull today. That stuff is added up for so much goddamn time. How do we adjust path on that when it has necessarily become part of our psyche that every day I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a coffee? Like, how do you change that?
Like when it comes to the health stuff, I had a friend of mine that basically got a 30-day card, and he called me and he's like, Steve, what do I do? I said, well, let's evaluate what you're eating and drinking. Come to find out, he was drinking more carbs in one day than I would have all week, because he was drinking like 6 Mountain Dews a day. And I said, well, how about we go down to 1 Mountain Dew a day? And so we did.
Right.
And within 2 weeks, he lost 15 pounds. Just with that small change.
Soda is a huge one.
Right. So what had to happen was he had to fall down. He had to hit rock bottom. And then he had the aha moment. And because I was willing to plant a seed and say, hey, here's what I've done, then he was able to progress from there. And then once he saw the weight loss, once he saw the results, once he started to feel better, he started to make better decisions. Within a year, he lost 100 pounds. And so all it takes is the little thing, yes, to make you go in the wrong direction, but at the same time, it still takes that little thing to go in the right direction. Think about, you've driven a boat, right? Sometimes, when you're driving, you're like, well, we want to go that way. So you just gradually, because if you do that, man, you're flipping everybody into the water. But you just gradually, and if you let go of the wheel, who knows where it's going to go. And so you have to love yourself. You have to stop being angry. And you have to go, you know what? My family and myself depend on this. Right. And so now that doesn't, but you don't want to overthink it. It's like, you know what? Small things like, there are relationships that are saved by simply a good morning text, or I love you text, or how was your day? And then don't talk about yours, kind of a deal, and
I think I'm pretty good at doing that.
Yeah.
You're very good at that.
I think you overthink, and look, that solitude that we had in the truck can work against us. And I think that like what you did today, distraction, talking to friends, you know, like, you know, I got a friend of mine, it's one of our contractors, but we've been friends for years. And whenever we talk too much about trucking, I will change the subject because we're both guitar players. And and you know what? Next thing you know, we've talked an hour and he hasn't said the F word once, and you know, he's all about, you know, we talk about music and all that stuff. And we all need that. You don't need to escape, but you need to let the right voices be the louder ones. And I can't explain it. Like, I don't know what the trigger was for me. I think you just got to be tired of being tired, you know, and so you either have the discomfort of being unhealthy or you have the discomfort of getting healthy. You have the discomfort of a bad relationship, or you have the discomfort of confrontation, but then solving the conflict. They're both uncomfortable. Which one are you going to choose? And so I have little notebooks. I have little lists that I put down. And even the making a list itself makes me feel better. Like, oh, I've made a list. Oh, I'm gonna conquer the day, you know. And I find that if I'm on my phone too much, if I'm on Instagram or Facebook too much, or if I'm even YouTube, if I've got too much negative YouTube, too many YouTube shorts, I can't sleep right. You know, there's a cortisol imbalance going on there. There's a physical thing going on there. But also, you can't quiet the mind. And that's what you need. You need the things that will quiet your mind so you can look to see what those small things are. I once wrote a song called Moments, right? And what it was a song about, I was sitting in a group of people. We were at this all-night coffee, you know, dive restaurant. And we would drink coffee and write our lyrics, you know, and everybody would write their journals, and we'd have all the world's problems solved, you know, that kind of thing. And everybody's blah, 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 jabbering. And I'm sitting there by, you know, kind of like in the sea of chaos, and I'm just the quiet one. And the waitress comes up to me. She's like, "How you doing, hon?" And she moved the cup in a certain way that was kind of weird, you know. And it was a moment that only I caught. Right. Nobody else saw it, right? And I wrote a song about moment. It's called Moments. It's an apnea song somewhere, and I believe it's on our first album. But nobody else. And so that was my little thing. That was my little treasure. Like the other day, I was outside. You know, every morning before I go to work, I'm out in the backyard, and I thank God for the air, the trees, the morning, everything, right? And at one point,
and the cicadas,
right? And then a little bird landed on the clothesline, and it just like it was like, "Yo, man, what's up?" It was like God winking at me. I mean, it really was, and I'm like, no one else saw the moment. I wasn't like with my camera, look, I'm looking at birds, you know. It was literally a moment just for me that brought a little bit of peace, even for a split second, before I started my day of mastering the chaos of the spot market. It's the little moments, and think of the little moments. Those are your distractions from the negative voices in your overthinking.
Right.
Like whenever like my wife and I are stressed out, we'll go watch some Beavis and Butthead episodes. You know what? And you know what, dude? We go to bed in a good mood when we do that. You know?
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. Wilbur has told me this on a personal level. But Wilbur is saying, when I come off the road, I say hello and I love you to my family. But then they leave me alone for the first night and let me unwind. When I wake up the next morning, I'm ready to be part of the family. That right there is the key to success in a long-term, you know, him and Dar have been married for a while. Letting a truck driver unwind, that is the most important thing. And Red Lady has never had that issue with me. And no. I've communicated with her as like, hey, I need to play some video games. I need to grab a guitar for a little bit. unfortunately today I am drinking a little bit. I need that unwind a little bit, and I don't think she's been offended by it or anything like that. Is that something similar to what you've done in your own family, Steve?
Yeah. So when I first started, when I got home, I might have been bombarded because the kids were little and my wife was stressed out, and so what we learned was, let me have my day off, so to speak, and then we'll start the honey-do list. There was and a lot of marriages have trouble with that in the trucking world. And so what we did is we didn't really, it was kind of an unwritten rule. We didn't like, don't bother me. I didn't do that, but my wife would give me a chance to unwind and kind of get into the groove. And that was hard at first because the first year or two, it's an adjustment. When I was training, I would tell these new drivers, I said, look,
you become a stranger to your own family.
Exactly. You become a stranger to your own family. Your wife's making decisions, without your help. You can't micromanage your family. I mean, you could try, but it's going to stress you out. And you're not the head of the household anymore. And that's a tough transition for a lot of people. So, I read a lot of.
You're the provider for the household, but you're not the head of the household.
Right. And dude, I was blessed with there was a website, I think it's still around, called the Truckers Report. They had a message board. This, predates all the Facebooks and the MySpace. And there was some really good advice for new drivers. Somebody started a thread, odd advice for new drivers. And it was like all these things that they don't teach you in CDL school, things that they don't teach you at the companies, all these oddball, weird, quirky things, like using chalk sidewalk chalk to mark where you need to put the holes, when you're sliding your tandems, little things like that. And one of them was when
the trucker support has become a Facebook group.
Oh, okay. And so one of the things I read was, when a driver gets home, for the wives, don't bombard him and don't because she'll want to go out to eat. Like, she's been eating at home, and you're like, that's all you've done is go out to eat. So there's like a give and take, and
balance.
Yeah, it goes back to balance, right? So that there were times when I'm like, look, I just need to unwind. It's nothing against you. It's just, because I think that people that don't drive don't realize like what mindset you have to be in when you're in the truck, and then when you come home, it's like you can't just turn that switch off, and so for us, yeah, we did go through that phase. Yeah, so and then we made it a point to talk every day too on the phone. I mean, she has a headset, and so every night about the same time while she's doing dishes, she would call and tell me about her day, and then I would tell her about my day. And I had to learn the hard way. Like, for example, if you go, man, it was hot today. And I go, yeah, I know what you mean. For me, it was really hot, and I had to do this, and I had to do that, and it was really hot to do this, and I'm ignoring what you're saying and making it about me. And
we're all guilty of that as truck drivers.
Truck drivers are really bad. And then once it was done to me, I was like, wow, I really need to kind of kick that to the curb. And that's when I really started to calm down and say and listen. And that's when things improved. When it's tough to see the other side.
I think there needs to be a mutual respect for each other's position.
Correct.
The wife that's at home and the driver that's out on the road.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's a learning curve, and you got to love each other, and and respect each other and respect each other's spaces and time, and not take offense if you don't want to, if you don't like if you're not in their face right at the moment, so it's been a, there's a learning curve obviously, but there's no formula except, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it.
It's a mutual respect, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is what it is. Realizing the person at home, your significant other at home, is taking care of all the issues at home, the children, the bills, the house, whatever,
Right.
versus, and then the person out on the significant other on the road is taking care of the job that pays the bills.
Right. And yeah, so we had to work out a few things. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know if I've answered the question or if I just rambled, with near misses.
We're all here to ramble. I've made it a good habit of listening to her as much as possible. And I try not to worry her too much with the trucker stories and yeah, I see the accidents and yeah, I see the idiots, and honestly, there is something that risks my life at least 3 times a month.
Yeah.
But she doesn't necessarily need to know about it. I'll try to communicate it to her in a point of, hey, I've had some crazy stuff go on but I handled it. It's not a big deal.
I think that goes along with gauging your significant other as well. I can handle it, but maybe your significant other cannot. So you just decide on how much info you relay to them. Because you should have that open communication. That's not something easy to go through when you're on the road and you see or you have near-death experiences or whatever. But we should also be just as supportive. If they're not able to be supportive, you need to be able to gauge that. And I don't know, I guess I'm hardcore where I think you should be supportive.
Yeah, I mean, it's I remember one time I was with my dad and, we had an incident where, it could have been bad. And my dad goes, "Don't you dare tell your mother what we just experienced," And what are you laughing at? My cat?
No, it was a funny statement.
Oh.
I can picture your dad saying that. Shut up, son.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, Don't tell your mom what we just, because she'll freak out if she thinks that we're almost getting in accidents out here all the time, And I think that not everybody needs to know the horrors of war, just accept it. And
that's a good point. I had a cousin that he went over to Iraq and was a military police officer, and he used to send his wife pictures of Iraqis that have been blown up and just meat and bones and just and he was just being he was just being a dude, really. And she would share those pictures with family and stuff like that, and I talked to her and I was just like, are you okay seeing that? Because those of us in America, we can go to certain websites and find that photography and stuff, but he's sending you hardcore and she said, I don't mind it because I know that's how he's decompressing. And I was just like, are you okay with it though? Because that's crazy stuff. And she turns out she was okay with it. She didn't like it, but she didn't get to the point where she was like, well, I want a divorce because I can't stand you sending me pieces of Iraqi citizens and stuff like that. That's weird. I see there's a question posted. Sterling Wheel, how long have you been trucking? That is a difficult answer because for me to answer, because I rode with my uncle for many years when I was in my teens. My dad was a truck driver for UPS for many years. He was a feeder driver for 40 years. I got my CDL in 2006. Bounced around a few jobs, went OTR in 2012, started my own company in 2015. And who knows what the hell I'm doing now. So that's the most direct way I could answer that. Your cat is attacking you, saying, "Get off the internet."
Yeah, he's about 9:30 every night, like clockwork, man. He goes in total zoomy mode, and he's pissed because I'm not in bed yet. So I am. This has been fun, but I do need to get off here and spend some time with my wife. So.
Yeah, tell wife Lord we love her dearly. I'm sorry we took you away.
That's all right. Dying Breed Media, how's it going, my friend? He is a good person to. He's been a good friend through my carnivore and my spiritual journey. He's a good dude. So.
I've seen him on your channel a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. So surround yourself with good people, and you'll be in good shape. So.
Wife Lord needs to say hi.
Oh, there she is. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear them, hun? No, but I saw Sterling. He said, "Tell wife Lord that we love her," and you know what else? Whatever you said. So.
And I'm going to go ahead and mention that we're going to have Thanksgiving. We're going to have a Friendsgiving. If you guys want to come out here for that, we'll host.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. So.
Yeah,
but
all
right, man.
Red wife Lord out here and fire up the Traeger for her too.
Fire up the Traeger and get her shooting out there in the range.
Yes,
she just yelled, "Yeah,
yeah!" What a good time.
I can't thank you enough, Steve, for stopping by and saying hi. I kind of needed some help on this show, and I'm glad you were here to support me.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and I'm glad I showed up, man, because I was able to spread some good word and make maybe at least get people to think outside of the box, you know, and all that stuff. So
yeah, and we've both had some struggles this week, and I think this is a good way to put the water on the fire a little bit, smolder the flames.
Exactly. Do me a favor, Sterling. Go outside and take a look at the night sky for me. Don't lose your wallet, though.
Again.
Again. So.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Good times.
Good times.
So let's bounce through some comments a little bit. I know I missed a bunch. Kitty Craze was saying, "I'm like Red Lady. I've been around it my whole life. I believe her dad was a truck driver.
I have uncles that have been truck drivers, and I just grown up around it. So I'm used to the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
It is. She's been around it her whole life and definitely handled it. I see an accident area. I know where friends go. I check in to make sure they are okay.
Yes.
That's the advantage of technology nowadays is Red Lady and I, we use the Life 360 every once in a while. Not so much when I'm riding a motorcycle, because then she sees my top speeds and is like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
I'm not dumb. I know.
Kitty Craze with Dar. Thank you for being a valued channel member, by the way. Easier nowadays with cell phones to communicate as well. Yes. Cell phones has made it so awesome. Well, like just last week, I was in the truck with Harold, our new baby, our new dog,
our baby,
and we did some FaceTime and stuff. And of course, she was like yelling at him on the FaceTime, and he was like, he did that weird thing where the dogs were like, "Who? What?" It was great. Mr. B saying that's crazy. So half your life for the most part. Yeah, I've been around the trucking industry for quite a while. We have a special guest hiding in the background.
Oh, who?
I wonder who this could be. And they dropped out. Dying Breed Media. That he's over from Snorelord's channel right now. This is being broadcast on Snorelord's channel and also on Shannon Thomas Trucking. So any of you that are watching that are not familiar with my channel, I am Sterling Wheel, your gas pastor. This is the Church of Wheel Home. Today's show was called Home because we invited a bunch of people here home with us. At the end of my days, I need to get rid of all the stupid trucker thoughts that are going through my mind. There's only so much you can listen to Joe Rogan and a whole bunch of other podcasts that I listen to. So by the end of the day, I'm a little tired of myself. I'm a little tired of society, a little tired of trucking. So at the end of the day, I'll do these live shows on my channel. Anytime I do a live show, it's going to be called the Church of Wheel, with me being Sterling Wheel, your gas pastor. I believe we're not necessarily churchgoers. We're very spiritual, and a dear friend of the channel, Robert Tyke Trucking, you might see him here in the comments. He has defined church as a gathering of like-minded people, right? And if he is in here, he's also the fact checker of my channel. So anytime you get something a little off kilter, get your facts and figures it's a little bit incorrect, he'll come in here and regulate. His name is Fact Hunt Tyke. So, for those of you watching on Shannon Thomas's channel right now, she is officially my sister. Any of you watching
my sister?
She's more my sister than yours. Okay. Come on now. Yeah. Okay. She can be your cousin.
Sister.
Yeah, because cousins you can still make out with, right? A warning, I'm half redneck, half hillbilly. I grew up in Southern California. And then those of you on Snorelord's channel, I want to thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Check out the Snorelord OG channel. He's trying to get some more views on that channel, and he's
Let's
had
support one another.
Yeah, we got to support one another. And he's had that channel for quite a while. So yeah, SST saying Sterling is old hand. I've been surrounded by people, the trucking industry for my entire life, and it's funny because my dad was like, "Don't get into trucking. Don't do it. For whatever you do, don't join UPS." So I joined Right Arrow Trucking. I won't say what company it is. Mr. B saying, good night, Snorelord, OG, and great chat tonight. Write a list of everything you like about trucking and everything you dislike about trucking and see which one gets longer. I would much rather crap in my hand and then compare that to how much I like trucking. I see Snorelord. What the hell are you doing back?
I'm trying to end this feed on my channel. How do I do that?
It won't end until I stop mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So go to bed.
Go to bed.
Yeah. Thank you again for stopping by.
I'm one of those people that are streaming 24/7 without doing anything.
Well, that's if I decide to go to bed and just let the lights in the background do their thing. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on, Steve. Hold on. We've got
green chicken.
Pink chicken. We got orange chicken. We got pink chicken again. Who else we got? Because you're not participating in this, we've got red chicken. Chicken. And for our friends in the hood, we've got black chicken.
Oh shoot! All right, man. Well, you have fun, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for stopping by, Steve.
Bye.
Family of truck drivers.
So yeah, any of you that have broadcasted this to your own channel, Steve and Shannon, this will end when I stop my little hoot nanny, my little shindig over here. Kid of Crazy Madar saying dad, uncle, papa, and husband.
Yes. It's funny because truck drivers have a lot like military life. You hold your own. we handle our shit without. And then when our significant other comes home, we cut the world out and deal with our significant other.
Right. Yeah, because your dad was Navy.
Yes.
Mr. Bees has a new channel. Please follow. If any of you already have a ranch, please follow his channel. This is his new right here. This is his new identity. So follow his channel by all means. Sterling Wheel, it was a good chat. You hang in there. Shit's gonna work out. Things always do. I have some confidence in that. Yeah. Today was a tough week, but we've made it.
Gratitude. Remember gratitude.
Gratitude's a big part, and I did tell a few people today. Well, I made it a point to let a few people know that I care about them and thank them for their new time or for their time and
Yes.
kind words and stuff like that, because I was struggling. Camille's saying, go ahead.
I'm grateful for each one of you who show up. Yes, I am. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But each one of you who show up to these lives, without a doubt, we can count on. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
So Red Lady saying, thank you for participating in my madness. Camille's in the house with his wheel burner hat and shirt. Hopefully I'm going to be first in my family. Mr. B saying, you got my new email. Yes, I did. Kick Race, that would be amazing. Camille, Harold is awesome. Harold is,
yes,
he is a super dog, and thankfully he was very quiet in the backyard while we did all of this. I'm willing to bet he ripped that entire backyard up.
My tomato plant is gone.
Yeah. Tomato plants are gone. The cat has been thoroughly loved by a dog. Does that count as bestiality if a dog makes love to a cat?
I don't even want to know.
Okay. Well, we won't look that one up on the internet then. Kid Craze, do you and Red Lady have plans this weekend? We're both working. Unfortunately. Yeah, we're both working. I'm always off on a Monday, but on Monday I have my second interview with a job prospect. So wish me luck on that one.
Gratitude. I'm working on gratitude with my operators in the manufacturing world.
Yeah, Red Lady's been struggling a little bit, but she's doing better. Gratitude is huge. It goes huge especially with the newer generation that have popped into the less than 30-year-olds. They react to gratitude very well.
Yes.
Mr. B saying it was you and Wheelburner that got me interested in this YouTube thing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, if you got any questions, you've got my email address. I don't know if you need to do the StreamYard thing or anything like that. I personally do it because it's easier for me to act like a fool. I can pull up crazy banners and ask trucking questions, life questions and stuff. But I've helped Motobomb Virginia as well, and I haven't seen him around my channel much anymore. But the guy from Pennsylvania, Jackknife TV.
Okay.
I miss that guy. I hope he's doing well. He was struggling.
Remember to reach out to one another. What you put out in this world comes back to you. So put out goodness, because it will come back to you. Regardless, just put out goodness, because you never know what lives you will change.
And that's like, I've had a struggle the last couple weeks. I had a live show kind of go off the rails a couple weeks ago, and this isn't a warning or anything like that, but at any time when I say, hey, let's try to stay on topic, try to respect that, and let's not bomb each other in the comment section. I had an issue that kind of got out of hand, and I lost a couple friends over it, but they've come back and it's not an issue anymore. But by all means, let's keep this cordial. We're all friends here. Most of you have my contact information, Steve's contact information, Wheelburner's contact information and stuff. Let's keep this friendly. And those of you that have a wrench, like Flatbed Trucker here, and Red Lady, anybody that has a wrench, if you see some troll kind of activity going on, I know it's tempting to like pop it, take care of it, but let me play with it for a little
Play
bit.
with them.
Yeah, because I honestly like the trolls. I honestly like the trolls. I was telling Brian earlier today that I tend to like when there's something going on, I'll throw more fuel on the fire. Like there's a fire that happens, I'm going to throw more gasoline on the fire and let it blow up and burn itself out. Because when you pour water on a fire, it's boring. Either it goes out or it spreads all over the place. But I throw more fuel on the fire. So if there's troll activities going on my channel, let me play with it for a little bit. It's actually kind of fun. But flatbed, I'm sorry I missed your comment there. Nothing better, nothing getting a flat tire when your day is going great. The bomb, flat tires. At least it's only one flat tire.
It could be worse.
It could be all 18. Mr. B, I hope you can count on you to figure this thing out and figure out what I'm going to need. It's simple, Mr. B. Don't make YouTube more difficult than it has to be. Camille with a link, the Snorelord OG channel. We need to get some more view time up on the Snorelord OG channel.
Support him, guys. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's been around for quite a while on that channel, and then he started the second channel to do his live load board action videos. That's the easiest way for me to describe it right now.
I don't understand it, but I support it.
Basically, Snorelord is our guidance counselor in the trucking industry. So check out his main channel, Snorelord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker. But the Snorelord OG channel is more of his vlog. It's more of him. You'll also see some of his music. And I've actually produced some videos for his channel, the OG channel. My brain off not work. Nomadic Brit. It's not alcohol. It's medicine. And it's 8:07 p.m. and I need to go to bed here in a little bit. Nomadic Brit, I've missed you, brother. Nomadic Brit, I need to rule the trucking industry. Simple. We all have to rule the trucking industry. Mr. B saying chicken props, awesome. Everyone's laughing at the friggin' chickens. Kitty Crazy Dar saying maybe I'll just get a yard full of those kind of chickens. They're cheap.
Do it.
You can. You can get them. Harold is scared shitless of those chickens, by the way. You quack one of those chickens and he goes running.
He's afraid of the cat too.
I'm not convinced that he's on the spectrum, but he's pretty damn close.
He's on the spectrum.
He's pretty damn close. Mr. B saying Kitty Crazy Dar, that'd be freak Brian out big time. Film that. I should put together that and do that. Yeah, get the chickens on Amazon. Actually, Buck Brown has he found a clear version of those chickens, and I hope to God he sent that to me in the mail. I need clear chicken. David Edwards saying subbed.
Thank you.
David Edwards has subbed to my channel for like 50 years, like 500 years.
We're doing the whole pork thing.
Actually, he subscribed to Snorelord OG. That's what he was saying.
Oh, damn.
Kitty Crazy Dar saying, I was about to ask if there's been some drinking going on. No, we are Christians. We are virgins. Stop it. Mr. B saying sacrifice was made tonight. Oh my God. Camille saying best of luck, Sterling, sir. I'll do okay. We're
all going to be okay.
She's going to be more okay than the rest of us. Trust me.
Yeah,
the second I end this live stream, that there's going to be nudity, angry. Yes. There's going to be violent nudity. Violent nudity is what it's going to be. Kitty Craze with Dar, valued channel member. I have gratitude to be near the mountains.
Me too.
By the way, Dar has been producing some shorts and some videos because she's been exploring the mountains and stuff. She's been in a totally new area of Canada, which is absolutely beautiful. I got a fly in the fucking room.
I would like to support. I would like to go and see Dar and Brian in their new area.
Yeah, well, now that they live in the good area of Canada,
yes,
they're
absolutely.
Far away from those French Canadians. Jesus Christ, yuck. Flatbed trucker, nothing like getting a flat tire when your day is going great, and then bang!
Bang.
No more recap tires. Kitty Crazy Dar, Moto was in tonight, I thought. Yes, he was in here earlier. He's doing good. Yeah, he was in here earlier. So I don't fart Wait. Kitty craves a dart. So don't fart as it'll come back to you.
Fart.
I had a few this
Good
morning.
fart, anyways. We're all drunk.
Yeah, we're all. This is a home of acceptance. So get in here and fart.
Much love.
Camille saying, Moto Bombster, Santa and Mam channel tonight. Moto was here earlier. You didn't lose friends. Sometimes people need a break from the insanity.
Absolutely. Take that break that you need.
Yeah, I understand that, Dar, but I was telling Brian a little bit earlier that like I almost wanted to fucking give up YouTube.
You know what? Don't forget those who helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah, I'm currently over 900 subscribers thanks to Dar and Mr. Wheel Burglar, also known as Wheel Burger Express. Mr. B saying that's an awesome group. We've got a very good community around here. David Edwards, I tried to put out and got a gift that keeps on giving.
We may not have a huge community, but we have a good community.
There's a good bunch of people that follow my channel. Like I said, there's about 16 of you watching right now. We've been doing this for 3 hours. This is kind of a little marathon episode we got going on. We're currently broadcasting on Shannon Thomas Trucking and also Snorelord. So those of you that are watching from those channels, I thank you for partaking in our madness. And we're going to get through the rest of these comments and wind this crap down and wish all you kids. Yeah, we all need to go to bed. Every single one of you need to go to bed. I'm going to keep this live going.
I'm going to go to bed for a different reason.
Yeah, but I'm still going to keep. I'll have to put it on my OnlyFans channel if that's the case.
No.
You don't want to do it? Oh, well. None of you can afford the OnlyFans channel anyway, so it's fine. Good seeing here, Dar. Mr. B, let him have his fun. Who, me? Jeremy Griggs, I hope you're doing well. I've tried contacting you in the past, and I know you had some minor struggles. And
you're a troll, huh?
You're not a troll. You're not a troll. I know Brian talks to you and stuff. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. Flatbed Trucker with Snorelord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Truckers website, YouTube channel. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know if he has a website. You can try it though. Nomadic Brits is not a channel member.
What?
Weird. No, actually, Nomadic Brits. He's watching on somebody else's channel. Join my channel, you British asshole. Big up to the Brits, Great Britain. Wheel Burglar Express is a valued channel member. I'm laying in bed right now trolling everybody's channel. You should.
Brian.
You should. Nomadic Brits say the girlfriend's coming out of the truck soon. Will Burger is nowhere near his truck. Come on now. There ain't no lady in the world that wants to fuck a guy that's got a broken down semi-truck. Come on now.
Well,
in a broken down semi-truck?
Well, that's what it takes.
Oh. Flatbed Trucker with another link to the Snorelord OG channel. British girlfriend. Brian and I have both expressed, cover your ears, Red Lady. We both have a dream of a black chick with a British accent. The Red Lady doesn't agree, but I think that's fucking hot.
You got it good right here.
Yeah. Can you speak with a British accent?
I guess maybe. I don't know. Thank you.
She's drunk. It works. David Edwards sub to Mr. B's. Yes, that's Mr. B's new channel. Please check it out. Kitty Crazy Dar. I'm barely enjoying you. Barely been on YouTube because I'm enjoying our area so much. Kitty Crazy with Dar has moved to a new area.
I love your videos, Dar. I love your cat videos.
Well, not only the cat videos, but all the places she's been exploring. There in Alberta.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Keep it up, yeah. Powder Girl looks like somebody familiar. Who does that look like?
It starts with a K.
Starts with a K. Yeah, Kira Knightley.
Yeah, something, whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Powder Girl, I know you haven't seen my channel before, but thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Hope you're doing well. Mr. B, I want to set up a GoPro in the shop, be able to put it in places like I'm going to be working on. I have no clue what's a sort of a good one. to do YouTube lives with a GoPro, at least get a GoPro 8, Hero 8. Gasman, good to see you in here. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in quite a while.
Mr. P, I have a question. How's your business been with the honey?
Oh, Red Lady's been asking, ask Mr. B, how's the honeybees going?
We're suffering here on our side.
Here on the West Coast, we have a friend right down the street that's got some hives.
Shorting.
It's been absolutely atrocious for him. I've also heard that recently there's some farmers here on the West Coast that have had to ship their bees back because they're just not producing. Mr. Beast, Hero 8 at minimum. Go to a pawn shop to get one. Kitty Craze, subscribe, Powder Girl. It's usually a fun place. Unfortunately, my channel is way too fun. So stifle yourself. I warn you, this channel can be way too much fun. Mr. B, thanking David Edwards. Camille saying, gorgeous Dar. Kitty Craze with Dar. That's the link to her channel. Look up Kitty Craze with Dar. You'll see a bunch of weird alien-looking cats. Like, I'm pretty sure the cats are aliens, but her cats are definitely aliens.
They're aliens, but they're cute aliens.
Uglier than sin. Nomadic Brit saying hi to Gasman. Florida Natural. What kind of vehicle we got in the background there? I like cars. By the way, my name is Sterling Wheel. I am your gas pastor. I am an enthusiast of anything with wheels. And that looks like a rally car of some sort. Florida Natural. Where are you from? I grew up in Southern California. I actually used to participate in the Rim of the World Rally when I was a kid. I was a team member for an independent Subaru racing team. So that's where I got some of my racing experience and stuff. Red Lady, please tell the crowd how good I am at driving off-road.
He is very good.
That's all you need to know. Fun. That's all you need to know. Florida Natural, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Mr. B, personally, I have all the people on here. Let's drink some more. You drank it all.
I did.
How dare you?
Where's my glass?
Personally, all I have seen is a lot of people on here that love you. We got a good crowd in here. I think your daughter's pulling up in the driveway.
Maybe.
Keep crazy with Dar. Last night when I saw you hit 900, subbed as a joke and then resubbed today. Thank you, Dar.
Thank you, Dar.
Gary Bates saying yeehaw. That is the official Gary Bates, because if you look,
poop emoji.
Yes, thumbs up poop emoji. If you look back 500 comments or so, you'll see a thumbs up and a poop emoji.
I get to meet Gary Bates yet.
Gary Bates is a fucking hero. He's a national treasure.
Hey, Friendsgiving. Good saying.
Yeah, Gary Bates, if you want to come out here and hang out in Nevada, we got you. Your daughter's walking up to the front door.
Oh, sure.
Probably wondering, what the fuck are they doing in that room?
What the fuck?
Mr. B saying they keep showing up. We got some good people around here.
Thank
Florida
you.
Natural. Guys, where are you from? Fallon, Nevada currently, but I grew up in Southern California. Nomadic Brit.
Military brat.
I miss Nomadic Brit. I wish you'd resubscribe to my channel.
That would be awesome.
I always liked Nomadic Brit. I know we had some issues in the past, but it's just the past. Who gives a flying fuck? Good seeing here, Nomadic Brit. Saying hi to Gary Bates. K Crazy Dar, all over Florida Natural. We are seriously, this live stream that you're currently watching, we're winding it down right now, but we've got Canada, we've got Turkey, we've got Pakistan, we've got Missouri. Missouri's a country, right?
It's a state, baby.
Missouri's a country right now.
State.
Nevada is a country. We're from Nevada. We're all over the place. Gary Bates saying Nomad has a girlfriend. Are you telling me? Are you telling me that Nomadic Brit has a girlfriend? I think he's way smarter than that. I think he has a Range Rover Sport and has no need for a girlfriend.
You have a wife.
She almost said girlfriend.
Wife.
Show them your ring.
Wife. Wife.
Oh, that's too funny. She thought she was a girlfriend.
Wife.
Does that mean
Wife.
crazy sexual positions tonight?
Whatever you want.
Will Burglar saying, I'm now laying in bed just trolling. You're in somebody else's bed though. That's kind of creepy. Mr. B, y'all good night. It was awesome hanging out with everyone. And Will Burner, say hi to Mike for me. I know he just subscribed.
Be careful of those expired lot lizards.
There's only expired lot. Here's the thing, like I've got a camera in my truck now, and they have no idea how many lot lizards I've killed in the last week. It's fantastic. Nomadic Brit, hey, they were dead before they got in my truck. Nomadic Brit, it's not cheating if they're dead, right? Nomadic Brit, Gary. Nomadic Brit saying, Gary, yep, and she's a fellow Brit. Nomadic Brit, you've got my fucking phone number. Please contact me. I miss you. Kitty Craves with Dar, laying in bed. Don't forget to call me after so we can have phone sex.
I will.
She wasn't talking to you.
I thought she was talking to me. I'm all for it.
Dar is pretty hot, by the way.
She is. She is.
Remote.
Sorry, Brian.
Remote.
Watch your wife.
Remote. Remote viewer saying Trollflation 2024. Are you saying that there's more trolls going to happen this year, or trolls are more costly this year?
Trolls are so much fun to fuck with.
I like trolls. Thank you for stopping by. Wheelburner Express. Wait a second. Remote viewer.
Wait, hold
on. Remote viewer has a wrench, but that's on somebody else's channel.
Wait a minute. How? What?
That's not on my channel.
Wait a minute.
You better subscribe to my channel or I will kill a innocent kitten, and I will do it on a live stream.
You better subscribe now.
Wheelburner saying, sorry, Dar, I'm already finished, but I guess I'm going to wind up for round 2. Oh, geez, Wheelburner. Are you saying you whacked one out before Dar was watching?
Poor Dar.
Jesus.
You left her hanging.
It's terrible. Terrible. Kitty Cranes with Dar is valued channel member and a moderator. Oh my God, rude that you let one go for Sterling. I don't know what you're talking about.
Us girls have to stick together.
We got a weird troll. Yes, happy vlogs. Look at the avatar. Look at the avatar. What do we got there? We got some mukbang action going on there. We got some chicken. What do we got? We got chicken. We got
something. Give me a little head or something.
Yeah, we got onions. We got guacamole. What else we got there? What else?
Oh hey! Oh, I'm looking up a totally different thing.
Oh, right there. It looks like we got guacamole in the center.
That looks like something.
Huh? No, that's happy. That's happy times. That's somebody being happy.
Happy times.
You got headphones on and you're happy. Good to see you here.
Happy times.
And as Camille has reminded everybody, no spamming.
That's right. Thank you, Kamal.
Nomadic Brit with a prolific amount of observation. Sterling, your missus looks hammered. And I look totally virgin, don't I?
I'm sorry, everyone.
I'm quite the delectable gentleman. Camille saying Victoria Justice. Mr. B, yes, West Coast have a lot of issues with bees. That's why we okay. Mr. B's Bees and Teas is his full name. West Coast has a lot of issues with bees. That's why we ship them to Cali and pick them up after pollination season. We do lose a lot of bees doing this. Okay.
We're struggling. My friend says he's struggling with. He only has like 4 jars worth of honey because there's not enough. They're not pollinating enough. So there's not enough honey. There's a lot of beehive. How do you want to put them? Beehivers not getting enough honey from their beehives this year.
It's I've been hearing it's an issue here on the West Coast. Yes. Nomadic Brit Sterling looking to get an ex-Army Humvee, and yes, it'll have a Union Jack on it. That's blasphemy. Why would you do that, dude? Come on, get yourself a Defender 130. Get you a Pink Panther, and you and I are both Land Rover enthusiasts, so you understand what a Pink Panther is. Mr. B, Red Lady. But yeah, I'm fixing to start dropping more vids on them. I had unable to post on my other channel. So he started another channel. So he's going to be able to post more of his bee content now.
I think I just subscribed to it.
Good. David Edwards saying, playing morning music for the daughter. Good on you. Good on you.
Good job.
Nomadic Brit saying, Wimbledon, London. David Edwards says, porn. What? Porn music? Porn music? What are you saying, David?
What?
Ever since he shaved his eyebrows off, he's lost his mind.
He definitely have lost his
mind. Nomadic Brit. Gary, name is Twin Flames. She's now being mentioned on our channel. Nomadic Brit, if you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe right back to you. I miss you, brother. SST, Mr. Red Lady makes Sterling uncomfortable. Unsubscribe. Yes, if you see this channel, unsubscribe and dislike, disavow, deconstruct. What's the other ones?
Disembowel.
Disembowel. Unsubscribe again.
Remember
counteract,
to support each other.
Counteract. Don't support anybody on this channel. Mr. Bees is laughing maniacally. SST, Dar makes Wheelburner finish himself off in the regular.
We're both drunk.
She forces himself to do that, really. Mr. B, I think people just like saying guacamole.
Well, better than moist.
By the way, all your skeletons right now are moist. Think about it. Mr. B, there's not enough food for them. It makes them honey by him taking them honey. His hives keep getting smaller and smaller until it's gone. That makes sense.
He's struggling with whether to give them sugar water or let them figure it out.
That's crazy. A few more comments. Once I reach the bottom of the comments, you kids don't have to comment anymore. Let me be able to shut the show down. Please, for Christ's sake.
He wants to
SST saying, poor little guacamoles. Oh my God. Nomadic Brit, I just subbed to your channel. Just need to get my life in order, which is totally great now. Mark, please reach out to me tomorrow. I know you have my phone number. I would love to hear from you.
Support each other.
It's been a while, brother, and I know we've been through some hard times and stuff, but I want to hear how you're doing. I really do. David Edwards, look at that. Holy moly. David Edwards has the last comment on my channel with 13 people watching. And sugar water. Oh, Mr. B saying sugar water is a good substitute, but it's really not enough. Plant lots of marigolds. Not nomadic, but Mr. B's, you see how we live out in the middle of the friggin' desert around here? Those bees have to travel quite a distance to get to the alfalfa fields. The closest alfalfa field to us is what, 3 miles? 4 miles?
Right. Well, no, not even that. He's struggling with trying to keep it from being the alfalfa versus the sugar water. He's got a lot of plants planted, but there seems to be all of the hivers are struggling in this area. There's not enough honey produced.
Right. Nomadic Brit, my brother's passing at 42 wiped me out. That's a hard one, Mark. We're sorry to hear about that.
I'm so sorry.
I turned 44 this year, and then there was a passing here. One of my favorite YouTubers, his name was Rabbit. It's Rob Pitts. He was 42, I think so. 42 or 44. And it just, I can understand your statement there where you said it wiped you out. Just, 42 is still young. It really is.
I want to go back to gratitude and remembering the people who have influenced you the most in life. Keep them close. And just keep going on. Because that's the people who passed. That's what they would want, is you to keep moving on and being true to yourself.
Right. Like I said, Mark, please contact me tomorrow, please.
Yes.
Mr. B, don't cut down dandelions. Do we even have dandelions?
No, we got weeds. We got bush weeds.
We got tumbleweeds. SST stands. What plants crave? Brondo. Mr. B, when I do a live, Red Lady, feel free to ask questions like this and them. I heard that you were planning on doing a live pretty soon. If you can do it tomorrow afternoon, it would be great. I will be in there and support you, brother. I will. I really will.
Sterling will let me know so I can try to be available. I work tomorrow.
Yeah, we're both working this weekend. No matter Brit, it was Twin Flames that brought me back. Mark, I want to hear, seriously, I want to hear from you tomorrow. Please give me a call.
Reach out.
David Edwards, valued channel member. I love Rabbit. Rabbit told the best stories on VinWiki. It was absolutely awesome. That's the bottom of the comments. I want to thank you kids for stopping by, hanging out with me and Red Lady. Today's show, Church of Wheel, was home. We both want to thank you for stopping by our home and hanging out with us. We had some good people today. We had Snorelord, we had Shannon, and Wheelburner. It's been a while since Wheelburner's been on YouTube. To be honest with you, both of us have struggled with the YouTube, but it was great to see him stop by and say hi.
You've each brought something valuable to all of us, and we want to be just as supportive as you have been to us.
Exactly. And word up to the replay gang. I know a lot of you are going to catch this in the replay. This is also being broadcast on Shannon Thomas's Salmon Trucking. Shannon Elizabeth Thomas Trucking. Shannon Thomas Trucking, and also Snorelord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker. This is also being broadcast on their channels.
And Wellburner.
I don't know if he broadcasted on his channel. It didn't look like he did. But I want to thank you kids for stopping by and checking out what I do around here. The Church of Wheel is a chance for me to release my mind a little bit. I usually do these shows. These are live shows that I do at the end of my day, end of my route. I'll either do this from home or I'll do it from the end of my route. I usually have a cell phone with me and some good microphones and stuff. I want to thank you each and every one of you that are currently watching. There's only 10 of you watching for participating in this, and it's been great. I'm going to get to the rest of the comments and say goodnight to you kids. It's 8:33 here in the Pacific.
Good night,
everyone. From Fallon, Nevada, from a bunker in Fallon, Nevada.
I have to be up at 4 a.m. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, Red Lady's going to bed. Mr. B saying, okay, cool, thanks. What's a good time for me, guys? I don't know what route I'm doing tomorrow, but I think I'm usually going to say I'm done by about 1500, 3 p.m. Western Pacific time. So anytime you do a live show, I'll try to pop in there. Me too. All of us support each other on this stuff. I've built a pretty good community around here. Mr. B saying, yes, good night. Awesome live. Everyone had a great night and be safe.
Be safe.
It's a friggin' Friday night. Can you believe we did this on a Friday? It's awesome. Thank you, kids, for stopping by the way. Nomadic Brit, laters all, and love to Great Britain. Those of us.
Thank you, Nomadic Brit, for stopping in.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and prayers for Great Britain. I know they're going through some troubles right now. They got some riots and stuff going on. And honestly, I thought those riots were going to happen in America. It's a little surprising it's happening in Great Britain. So if you got any family or friends in Great Britain, please reach out to them.
Yes. Stay safe, Nomadic Brit.
Stay safe. Yeah, exactly. Camille saying good night, Mr. B, and sleep tight. Good night to the rest of you kids.
Good night, everyone.
Good morning, Camille. Yeah, good morning, Camille. It's already freaking almost noon there. He's exactly 12 hours ahead of us, so he's at 8:34 a.m. in Pakistan. You can't believe the kind of community you can build when you're doing stuff like this, and I personally thank all of you for stopping by my channel and saying hi. You can be thankful. Super chat, Cash App, Sterling, spelled with a $sign, Sterling Wheel. For the Cash App, or PayPal at Sterling TD. I also accept Cash Apps and stuff. And I want to thank you. And furthermore, before I end all this, before we end all this on a live show, Don't try this at home. All commentary is fictional, untrustworthy. Dislike and unsubscribe. And with that, I will press a button that makes things go away. And Red Lady is trying to seduce me. And it's not going to work because I am a distinguished gentleman. Stop it with your evil feminine ways.
Blood flies through the air. Shredded victims lie in pain. Death is never fair. Legs blown off, all hope is lost. A human life is what it cost. Drop into your knees to pray.
Welcome to Sterling Wheel.